I'm Shane.
I'm Bo.
We are your Kentucky Fried Critics.
Welcome back.
Here we are.
We got another one.
I'm excited.
Continuing through our month of time.
I don't even remember, and I hate myself. 20 maybe? I literally just did this. Remember I told you I was going to try to remember what episode number.
Oh, yeah.
I just made the last one.
I think it's 20. But yeah. Doing Back to the Future today.
You guys know. Come on. We told
you last week.
Hopefully you're a fan and you heard it last week.
And
if
are
you're
here
not,
with us today.
If you're not, you saw it on social media posts. If you're listening to us brand new, you saw the episode title, which again for Back to the Future will be something recognizable.
Right.
So you knew.
Has to be.
If you clicked on this and you didn't know, I'm surprised. Oh, we do. On that note, though, we do have to tell them about what beers. This time we are doing something special.
Yeah.
Again, if you saw the posts,
I'm so excited and happy about this. We have so much beer today.
Yeah, it's not a problem. It's not going to be an issue like Terminator.
Well, where I'm like just grumpy because I ran out of beer.
Yeah, okay. Now that we're finally here and you got to watch the video, did you see
Yeah, I
yourself?
did. I saw it. It was like I keep looking at my empty cup like, motherfucking just fill back up, you son of a bitch.
So a little bit of inside for everybody else. I had to tell Bo that literally while we were recording that one, I kept looking at him and being like,
I was
he's
mad at him.
dude. Like, I don't.
I was mad that my beer was gone. Fucking two. What was I 4.9 or something?
They were good.
They were, but
I need more.
I needed much more than that. But that's not a problem today. I have so much beer on this table.
But yeah, it was definitely a.
You tell how happy I am.
So again, if you aren't a Patreon member and you want to see Grumpy Bo, go join Patreon.
Yeah, go join Patreon. You see my grump face.
Even if you don't want to join Patreon or you just want to get the one, it's the Terminator one.
Yeah.
Trust me, if you go get that one, you'll see Grumpy Bo.
About halfway through, I get grump face because my beer has gone away.
And again, it is totally just like he says. It's like he'll forget about it and then he'll look down.
I think I even tried to take a drink of an empty cup at one point.
It's like he reminds himself,
like,
oh yeah,
God damn it.
It is quite comical now in retrospect. Again, at that day, I kept being like, man, and I did it finally at one point. Looked down and was like, oh, I get it.
Take my beer serious, man. I get sad when it goes away.
We've just spoiled ourselves. Again, remember when we started and we were like, I'm not the biggest IPA fan and stuff.
Like
the higher strong.
Right?
Yeah, and now we're like,
no, I need it.
I need it to be like, if it's only 2 cans, you got to give me like
3 or 4 of them.
Well, if it's 2 cans, it needs to be 7.
Yeah,
7,
at least
8
minimum.
Right? Like
if it's the 2 tall cans, 7%.
Yeah,
minimum.
We have spoiled ourselves. Remember when we started and it was like 2 8% cans, and me and you would have been like, "I'm not leaving here. I'm gonna sit.
I'm gonna sit and chill for a little bit, sober up."
Yeah. Now we're like, "Geez,
hey, shit, give me 11%."
But yeah. So today we are doing 2 different beers. We have. Well, you tell them one, I'll tell them the other.
I'll tell you. Since I brought this one, I got Miller Lite.
All right. So yeah, Bo got the Miller Lite. I've got the High Life.
He's got the good shit.
Yeah, so this is one of those things I think we should, since we don't have to do a lot of other stuff, we'll address that in a minute.
Yeah, we don't have to do the directors or actors. We already did that.
And we'll tell you what, we'll get in depth on why in a minute. Because again, if you're new here, I'll tell you need to know exactly why. But since we're not doing that, let's address the spear problem.
Why we have 2 of them?
Well, we have 2 of them. That's the movie has both, right? Like the time travel may have changed
the
beer preference
in the fridge
in the McFly house.
Because it starts at Miller Lite in the beginning of the movie.
And at the end of the movie, when Doc goes to get beer out of the trash can feed Mr. Fusion, it's a High Life.
I love that shit.
And so the assumption there is that there is no longer light beer in the fridge of
they can
the
afford
McFlys.
The good shit.
Now, I'm glad you said that because that's the other thing I wanted to address. The elephant in the room.
Does anybody know if Miller Lite was cheaper in the 80s?
Or the 50s, or at some point that would have made the movie want to make this reference.
Because it is more expensive now, and it makes no sense.
Well, it definitely doesn't make any sense because this is a better... High Life is a better beer.
High Life is way better.
You can fight me, people in the internet
come
world.
at me. I got your back. I'll fight both of us.
Yeah, because High Life is definitely a better beer.
It is.
I've been drinking High Life since high school. I know that's illegal. Don't arrest me. I mean, statute of limitations. But yeah, High Life is definitely the better beer, so you can come at me. But I don't even. Again, in high school, we were just giving somebody some money, so I didn't pay attention to how. Like,
I just didn't want Budweiser, so
I don't know what the price discrepancy might have been then. But all I know is today, if you go and you want to buy yourself a 12-pack of High Life, you are paying less money than you are for the Miller Lite.
Why?
I don't know.
It's worse.
It is, and it makes Back to the Future make no sense.
That when they have money now,
the rich McFlys are drinking the cheap beer.
They're so rich they want to keep that money. They got miserly.
Maybe
I can't. I gotta keep these pennies.
Now we all know the truth of the reason they did this is because of the slogan. It's just the slogan.
Yeah,
because this is the champagne of beers.
The champagne of beers.
And so, despite anything else you think, it sounds fancy.
It does, and it's got the lady on the moon in the label.
Union made.
Yes,
this is a by us
for us fucking beer.
We are a union.
Yeah,
well,
we're
me and Bo aren't union, but we come from a very long union family. Our grandpa was a union electrician. All of his kids, your dad, union electricians. Mom did it.
One TV episode, dude. We're good. SAG card. We're in a union. We're fine. Keeping the lineage.
I'm good with that. But yeah, so we definitely come from a line of union workers. And again, on top of that, High Life just being a great beer.
Yeah, and it's just such a good beer. It's one of my favorites. This, on the other hand, it's like they took everything, filtered it out, and left me with bubbly water with a weird aftertaste.
I know normally we save these for the end.
Yeah.
But, again...
It's Miller. They're not going to come
the reason we normally have to save it for the end is because normally it's the first time we've had.
It's true.
You know, those are beers that are like craft beers that we've never had.
Yeah, you can't judge on the first sip.
Yeah.
You got to drink one or two of them, and then you can judge it.
But me and you have been drinking, as we've already said, since high school, so we have both had plenty of both of these. I don't think we needed to save that conversation.
Never drank them side by side this either.
But I already know which one's better. All right. I think we can move past this. We've had fun. We've had fun with the beer. On that note, guys, like we already hinted at, this episode gets to play a little different.
Yeah, usually we go through the directors and actors and everybody, but
and for good cause. We want to make sure we talk about some of these people.
We've already done that though. If you want to hear how I don't like Steven Spielberg, go listen to the Back to the Future 2
episode. And especially that he does the producer tag.
Yes, that just throws his name on it.
If you watch that one, that's his biggest problem with Spielberg.
That's my biggest
I had to point it out to him even. Like that's the fun. I remember that conversation. Literally, like you go on the rant, and then I start being like, "But you like this thing about him. You like this thing." I think you just don't like that he slapped his name on it, and you're like, "Okay."
Yeah, that's what it is. I don't like that he's just like, "Oh, I like this movie. Boop, pop my name on there, get some credit."
I agree. That's horrible.
I think it started with this one.
It probably did. I would imagine. You definitely saw his name as a kid.
Zemeckis did a good job.
He did.
All I ever heard was Steven Spielberg.
We need to stop. We've already done this. I'm sure we're about to
Back to the Future 2, or I'm just going to rant again about it.
Well, again, the main takeaway is that we don't have to do it because it's the same writers, same directors, it's the same actors, minus, again, we've already addressed this. Elizabeth Shue takes over as Jennifer for 2. Crispin Glover is gone for 2. We talked about the Hollywood scandal. We literally, that was one of those episodes where we went way too long.
That was like 20 minutes just on the Crispin Glover
thing.
That
was like literally, that was like first of the 3 hours. You know what I mean? Like that was what made us realize we needed to change formats. And we're still starting to
we're still fucking going too long. We talk too much.
We do. Well, I don't care.
Cue the song. You talk too much.
It's fun. Like you said before we started. This is one of the most entertaining parts of the day.
What's his goddamn name? Joe Rogan. He has like 5-hour long podcasts. We can do 2.5.
Well, again, if this is just our fun in the day, people can deal with the fact.
This is the best part of my day. Leave me alone. I'll let it go as long as I can.
And since it's the best part of our day, it means that despite the fact that you guys might not like hearing some of the dumb stuff we say, it's the most entertaining part of our day. So it all sounds great to us.
Right.
All right. But so this time there's nothing for us to go over because
there's nothing new. I think the catering team was the fucking same.
We talked about everything so in-depthly last time that there's not a rock that anything could have been hiding under for us to talk about.
Fast forward a week and our Back to the Future 2 video views jump like 100.
Fuck yeah, dude. I'm ecstatic about that. But so since we're not doing any of that, because it's all been done before, we just get to start the movie. So you guys, this is a fun episode that gets to roll right
into the movie. It starts with clocks.
I love the opening to the movie.
Like the title card even just kind of floats across the screen.
The clocks, and then if you the first time you watch, you don't pay attention that they show you the Rube Goldberg device both ways.
Yep.
The first time you watch it, you don't realize that's what you're seeing.
No, because
until it goes back the other way.
Oh,
so
shit!
I love that you see like all these pieces not moving, and then it just stops, and the camera comes back, and you're like, oh.
I like the one clock. It just sits there and it goes and it just flips this thing and turns on the TV and the toaster and shit.
Yeah. Well, again, it's perfect. I love Doc Brown and his weird.
I want a Rube Goldberg thing. I'm not smart enough to do it though.
It's hard.
I need smarter friends. Any engineer people out there, let's hang out. We'd fucking spend a weekend building some weird device that does something.
Even though we're a podcast, we are technically on YouTube. Maybe you should reach out to a YouTuber that does stuff like that and be like, "Hey, you want to collab?"
That would be dope.
That's how this is supposed to work. It both helps us get seen and it helps.
There has to be Rube Goldberg.
There
YouTubes out there. I want to. Dude, call me. I'm down. I can hold a wrench. I can measure.
YouTube itself is much like the rest of the internet. If you've thought it
there.
Exists. Yeah.
It's like the warp in 40K.
Yeah.
All of our thoughts
the
converge.
Second you spoke that out loud, Bo, it meant that it existed.
Happened. It got birthed into existence. Oh no, I've created a chaos god. Ah.
Wrong
universe. Sorry.
It's okay. We've got a little bit extra time. We can be a little bit more.
I can be a little more goofy.
But yeah, so I love this machine. We watch it go all the way through until the thing that finally lets you know something's up.
The dog food.
The dog food.
This gross, disgusting pile of dog food.
Before we see the dog food, we can just assume that everything's normal, right? Business as usual, no problems. You see the dog food and you're like, oh, people haven't been home.
This is like in Flubber, which is like it's just making his breakfast, right?
Yeah.
But then you're like, oh fuck.
You're like, oh,
it's like rotted and dried and shit. He's been gone for a week.
Well, we have to assume it's only doing this one time a day,
yeah,
right? Because the rest of this is breakfast, like you said.
Yeah.
So it's not like the dog food's going 3 or 4 times.
That'd be a much bigger pile.
Exactly. So it's like, so this has been a week's worth of molded, fly infested.
Like what Marty says, as soon as he walks in, he's just like, "Ew, the hell? What is this?"
I love that he sees that and doesn't call for Einstein.
Yeah,
he's not like Einie.
No, he just looks around. He's like, "Hey, nobody's here. I'm gonna play with this giant fucking amplifier."
Holy shit, dude.
His goes way beyond 11. Every one of those goes up to 100.
Yeah. This thing is nuts. And every time I watch it, I know Doc tells us when he calls him, he's like, Marty, don't touch it. It might backfire on you. Which means that Marty does use it regularly. Every time I watch it, though, I feel like Marty doesn't, and it's like Doc's not here.
Yeah, right. That's how I feel about it. He's like, oh, I get to fuck with it today. He's not here. He can't stop me.
But on top of that, I want to ask you, what does Doc use this thing for?
Sound research. I don't know.
Look at the rest of that shack.
It's just for Marty.
That thing is so nice.
His neighbor is an asshole, and he built it for Marty to piss his neighbor off because he was bitchy about the fence or something.
I love that you said that he must have just had it for Marty, because since we're doing 1, we can address something that I don't think we talked about in 2, because we're just so far into the Doc Marty friendship and how we just all just go along with it. Why the fuck are these 2 friends?
I have no idea.
No?
Like Marty caught Einstein when he got out.
Is it not really strange that these 2 are friends?
It is.
And they are friends. Like, I don't even...
Like, best friends.
Yeah. Like, they
make it like he goes over to Doc's place like every other fucking day or something.
Well, and they like really care about each other. Like, I mean, genuine. The both of them.
It's the dad he wanted. At least he's cool and interesting, unlike George, who's a boring.
Or maybe the grandpa. We never
grandpa.
Think about it. We never even see George's dad.
That's true.
We don't see his parents at all. And then Lorraine's parents don't seem like winners.
No.
So it might not even be that he's trying to... I mean, don't get me wrong. prefix timed George is also not a piece of work either.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know.
I don't either.
He's replacing a relative.
Yeah, he has
sure.
to be.
Doc Brown is a replacement for someone in his life. That's for sure. Yeah.
At least he does cool, fun shit.
I
builds
guess.
these crazy devices and is always blowing something up.
That's the part I was gonna say. Like, maybe it's a Mr.
He's
Wizard.
known him since he was like 10 and he just blew something up. And he's just like, cool.
Zemeckis, Gale, if you hear this, or if there are fans of ours that actually know if there's ever been something that's said about
Explains it.
Yeah, like why they were supposed to be friends. Please, someone tell me, because it is one of those things that always
it's on the
bothers
4K
me.
Blu-ray DVD commentary or
no,
something.
I have like the trilogy edition DVD with all of the. It's
not on there.
There's nothing that talks about pre.
I believe that you've watched it all too. I'm not even going to question it.
Oh, dude, that was a buy when my dad was a huge Back to the Future fan. He bought
Makes
that.
sense.
We watched it one day. Me and him woke up and we watched everything on every
just all
DVD
of the back
from start to
all
finish.
the bonus
all
shit.
Like we watched everything from the first. We watched the first movie, all of the
stuff.
specials. The second movie, all of the specials for it, and the third movie, and all the specials for it.
Then restarted it. Watched the movie with the director's commentary.
This was early DVD, so there wasn't a commentary track. But again, you didn't need it because like one of the special featurettes was like interview with the director.
Yeah.
I mean, like it was like the things you would have heard on that were already covered.
Fucking DVDs like that.
Yeah. So trust me when I say I know this movie.
Good times.
Yeah. Yeah.
The best one ever is the Lord of the Rings special edition, the big blue, green, and red box set.
All right. As much as we said we can get off track, I think maybe
we're on Lord of the Rings now.
Yeah, we're gonna
back to the story.
Yeah, we're gonna go so far that it doesn't even matter that that we gave ourselves the extra time.
Marty blows up the microphone and Doc calls him to tell him that he needs him to meet at the Twin Pines.
Twin Pines first time.
I keep wanting to call it Twin Peaks Mall.
Yeah. Twin Pines Mall first time.
Yeah,
it will change.
Because he kills one of the pine trees.
Killed
my pine.
One of the infamous moments that shows like at the subtle time change. Yeah, right. Like we
ones
see
that don't explode the space time continuum.
Right. This is just something that can happen. That's not a big deal.
Yeah, he lost a tree.
But yeah, he tells him to meet him at the Twin Pines Mall at 1:15 in the morning.
It's an odd time. Why not 1?
It's oddly specific.
Or 1:30. I don't like the 15. The middle times are weird. Well, 15:45.
It's also a weird time to tell a minor to meet you on a school night. Oh no, I guess it's the weekend. It's the weekend. It's
still though.
You're a 65-year-old man telling a 17-year-old kid,
come meet me in the mall parking lot
at 1:00 in the morning.
Come meet me in the mall parking lot and get in my van.
Because he does have a van.
He does have a van. I like his van though.
All right. But yeah, 1:15, weird time. During the conversation, all the alarms, all the clocks start going off. I hate it. Fucking drives me fucking bonkers. You gotta
turn your TV down. It's super loud.
It's already down because of the speaker.
Yeah.
I always, as soon as I see him turn knobs on the speaker, volume goes down until the clocks go off, and then I turn. Like, this is my standard Back to the Future watching process. I know.
I want to see the people who've never seen it just sitting there in full volume and shit, and just like, oh god damn it.
But yeah, so at this point though, once all the clocks go off, Doc says to Marty, "Good, my experiment worked.
I have them. They're all 25 minutes slow or something like that, or fast. I don't know how time works.
Slow because it says 8, and it's actually 8:25.
So yeah, he's like, "Damn, I'm late for school."
And and the other things though, like think about that. Doc said, "Oh, good, my experiment worked." We know he's working on the time machine. What experiment do we have going on? Well, this is. Did he originally have?
See if any of the clocks vary in time.
No, he said that they all are synced now, which I almost feel like he did preliminary flux capacitor stuff, not in a DeLorean, right?
Yeah,
maybe it was a time field in his place, and it was affecting every clock.
So they all synced up because he had this like time dilation field going in his garage.
I feel like we could have had weirder than the DeLorean.
If the
Doc
movie
would
was made now, they would explain it, and there'd be this like CGI fucking thing, and the whole half the house would get trashed.
Like 85% of people never wouldn't care. I'm just you know we're deep sci-fi people. You can't start.
We've had 30 years to think about this.
You can't talk about time travel and not have me think about like every time I've thought about time travel and be like, okay,
time loop.
Yes,
time loop episodes are the best of anything. I will watch all of them.
But yeah, so after he hears that, he knows he's late for school. This is when we get our first Hill Valley. You know, like this is the cruise through town. It's waving at all the people, like in the
got our Huey Lewis going.
Yeah,
don't need money, don't need fame.
Love Huey Lewis.
Right. I always wanted to do this with a skateboard. We did it with a 4-wheeler on rollerblades one time. We just tied a rope to it, and he pulled us around on our rollerblades.
This is
super fun.
Well, and this is phenomenal because this is one of those things that we see in, you know, like I love
every single one.
I love the things that we get the iterations of in every movie, and this is one of them.
Yeah,
like the ride through town far off of something. In 3, it's a little weird because do you know which one in 3 it is? We'll be doing 3 next, and I know, but since we're talking about this, I want to point it out to you. In 3, you don't realize what it is because in 3, it's when they choke him by the neck, dragging him by the rope. Because it's him being led by a vehicle, drugged through all of Hill Valley.
But it's the same. Yeah, it's the same concept, but he's just being drugged by his neck this time.
Exactly. I love the slight twist for 3.
I mean, you have to, otherwise you're just rehashing shit over and over and over again.
Well, no, it's also because in 3, how do you explain a skateboard? Like 1 and 2, it's easy because 1 and 2, it's like, okay, so it was a skateboard and then it was our hoverboard. Fine. 3, what do you say for the?
It's on a shovel, right? And it's tied to a wagon, and it goes and it's like, whee.
Yeah. See, you see what I'm saying? You start to lose
sparks shooting out of the bottom.
You start to lose all credibility once you do that for 3. In 3,
you're like ridiculous. Wouldn't have been as good.
Yeah.
It's much better to just hang him.
Yeah. Well, because again, like you could believe a posse was going to do that.
Oh yeah.
So it worked. Yeah. So once he gets through town, he's got to get to school. He's running late. Jennifer meets him.
She tries to smuggle him through. She's like, Strickland's looking for you. Gotta go this way.
2 things I want to point out right now because we just saw Hill Valley and we see the outside of the school. What the fuck is up with Hill Valley in 1985?
Oh no, it's pretty grungy.
It looks dirty and there's graffiti everywhere, and even trash. The trees are fucking dying, dude. Everything is fucked up.
The clock tower even has fucking graffiti and shit all over it.
I have never noticed.
Me either until this time. I watched it.
I'm watching it so intently for notes.
I didn't even pay attention till the end of the movie when he gets back and stuff. I was like, man, fucking Hill Valley's kind of gross.
But yeah, it's one of those things where you're like,
there's just trash everywhere.
Why was it so different? Like to me, it feels like the alternate 1985 wasn't that different.
Yeah, the Biff Towers.
Biff Towers is the only difference. But that movie wants you to be like.
That's why it took Marty so long to figure out that something was wrong because he's like, oh yeah, abandoned cars, trash. Yeah, it's fine.
But yeah, once
there's Fred sleeping on the bench. Nothing's out of the ordinary.
But the school is just as bad too. Like that's the thing. There's graffiti all over the
fucking
school.
Lockers are all chipped and the paint's coming off of them.
As they're trying to smuggle through the hallway, Strickland shows up. Strickland,
you're a slacker. Your dad was a slacker. You're gonna be a slacker. All McFlys are slackers.
No McFly ever amounted to anything in this town.
Your band sucks.
God, dude, like I hate Strickland.
He does. He's just an asshole for no reason.
The only good Strickland is 2.
Yeah.
Fucking alternate 1985 Strickland because he was cool. He wasn't a total asshole to Marty, and he fucking actually saved Marty. He started shooting
the fucking shotgun and shit.
Alternate timeline.
He's a badass.
But do you know why I think that is? He stopped being an educator.
He stopped being a teacher, and he got to fucking shoot at people, trying to steal his newspaper.
As long as he was in a fucking school building dealing with that many fucking teenagers, that motherfucker was going to be an asshole nobody liked. But if you get him away from it, he's a decent guy.
Should have never left the Marine Corps. That was his first mistake.
But yeah, so Strickland just sends him off on his way. He gives him detention, right, or something.
So he just tells him he's a slacker and he sucks. He even tells him like, "Oh, your band's trying out for the school dance. They're not gonna make it. Your band sucks. You should just quit trying."
And it's awful, dude.
And immediately goes over to the The rehearsal.
The tryouts.
Yeah, tryout. Yeah, not a rehearsal.
I love the tryouts because it gives us one of our gentle nod. Like, do you know who?
It's Huey.
It's Huey Lewis.
He's the guy who's like, I'm sorry, you're just too loud.
It's just too damn loud.
The whole problem is they sound fantastic, but Marty can't control those solos. He goes too hard, man.
It stays that way
forever.
This whole movie, anytime he touches a guitar, I'm like, dude, stop.
Yeah, just calm down.
You're doing too much. Do less.
Van Halen did that shit when they were on the top of their fucking world and on a lot of cocaine. And if you go and watch the footage of old bands like that and they do the crazy solo and stuff, even then it's like, all right, we're going too long, man. That's cool. Let's get back to the song.
So Huey Lewis himself got to tell them that his own song was too damn loud.
That's the best part.
Fucking love it. The Pinheads. Did you see that?
That's a good band name. I liked it.
I was like, Marty and his buddies aren't too bad. I mean, that's good.
Pretty good.
Once
Marty and the Pinheads, that's what I would have done.
But not only did he get told that they were too damn loud, he got specifically told, "No, you're not performing.
You're not gonna amount to anything. Just give up."
Now, as soon as that's done, we see Marty and Jennifer walking down the hallway, and Jennifer's trying to build him back up, right? She's
it's like, no, I like your music. I think you sound good.
That's not a big deal. You can't. And I was just like, look, if that would have been a record producer, right?
Yeah.
I would tell you that's not a big deal. Your music's not for every record company, right?
Yeah, try a different one.
When the guy who's in charge of picking shitty local high school
bands
music is telling you that you're so awful, he doesn't even think you match up to the other shitty high school bands. No, that means something, Jennifer.
You're too shitty to even do dumb Duran Duran fucking covers at a high school dance.
Right, dude? I was like, look.
I've been there. I've been there.
But I'm just saying, like, perspective is needed sometimes. Yeah. And Jennifer is giving the wrong one. I'm like, Jennifer,
I've had my band rejected because we were told we sucked. Happens.
It does. But again, you have to put it into perspective on who tells you, right? Again, like if it's a record producer, well, he makes music for a certain specific type. You may not be his taste. Shitty. Now, again, though, when it's this guy, it might say something more about your overall ability to make music.
Control the solo.
Yeah. Again, like we said, Marty is the biggest problem.
Yeah,
Marty is the biggest problem of the band.
Even they know it if you pay attention. Like the drummer in the background is just like, oh,
Marty knows it, dude.
Damn it.
Marty knows it. That's why he's always so worried about how people like his music. You know, like him and his music is supposed to reflect George and his writing. Yeah. Right. And so like Marty's like
that's why he relates to it later.
That's why Marty is that way though, is because his music is bad and he knows it. And he's just like, I don't know. People are gonna like me.
They're not gonna like my solos. They're gonna stop soloing. Exactly. Maybe be the rhythm guitarist and hire a better guitarist to do actual solos.
Once they get out of the school, they get literally almost run over by the 4x4 for the contest.
Right.
It cracks me up every time they walk outside and the thing just like, look at that 4x4. He talks about it. He talks like they should have had it parked the way he wanted to talk about it. It drove by so fast and
it was
just
gone. Like, he's still just like
lamenting this thing.
It's the best truck ever.
I guess maybe
it's a pretty nice truck though.
It is. I guess maybe they were trying to tell us they're just like regularly driving it all around Hill Valley.
Just going around
they're
that circle.
Advertising it to everybody. Because if that was supposed to be his only time seeing it, then I mean, how
5 seconds driving away?
How's he got that much to say about it? She's just like, it's okay, baby. You don't have to have something like that. I don't need you to.
It's gonna be fine. We're gonna go on our camping trip. It'll
either
be
way,
fine.
Yeah. Don't. I gotta go to my grandma's tonight though.
Here's a flyer from the clock tower. I'll write my grandma's phone number on it.
Clock tower ladies.
It's just exposition.
It is.
On this day in November, whatever, the lightning struck it, and blah, take a flyer. And he's like, all right, shit, here's a quarter, go away.
I think we can clearly see that maybe Jennifer's dad doesn't like Marty.
Oh, hell no. He is fucking death staring him from the car.
And again, I want everybody to understand, despite the fact that maybe they want you to think that Hill Valley is a larger area because of the graffiti, everything we know about it is that it's actually a small town.
Yeah.
Right?
It's like smaller than Moorhead.
Yeah, so again, a small town, and this guy's not even waving at you. No,
No, dude, he
fucking
don't like you.
He would at least fucking wave at you, right?
Yeah,
Like,
the head nod.
yeah, this dude doesn't do nothing.
He's just staring
It's a
daggers
dead
straight
stare.
at him, like, I will choke you to death, boy.
But yeah, so Marty gets the phone number, and I was just, again, that's such a leftover thing from the times, calling someone's grandma's house. Like, nowadays, we have cell phones. You wouldn't have to think about calling someone's house. But generally speaking, you would just be like, cool, go to your grandma's.
Yeah, I'll call you when you get home.
I don't need to call you.
I'm not going to bother your grandma.
But dude, the 80s was still like phone culture. Like landlines, and you just did it all the time.
Yeah,
you know
that's where you get the image of the, girls, 16-year-old girls. That's all they do is talk on the phone all night.
Yeah. I'm so glad that kind of, like, or at least I hope. I guess we're just not teenagers.
No, it's just, it's different. Now it's just...
Well, even
right
that,
in front of your phone.
That's even fine. I hope that no 16-year-old boy today, or like 12-year-old, really. Like, I'm surprised that Marty's stuck in this kind of thing where he's got to call her like that. But I hope no, like, young teenage boy is still having to do like me and you had to do and spend 6 hours on a phone with a girl.
Not saying anything.
Like, literally just holding
the phone, playing a video game.
I hope that no boy
But
today,
you're not allowed to hang up on him.
Right?
They get mad.
I hope that no boy is having to do that with a cell phone. I hope he at least gets to text her back and forth all night.
Right.
That's at least
way better. You can ignore it for a few minutes, finish what you're playing.
But yeah, so he is now, I guess, like, I'm glad that time travel fucks up that plan, because I'm glad well, no, think about it. He doesn't leave for that until 1 o'clock in the morning. We don't see it, but Marty had to talk to her for 3 hours when he got home.
He did. As
soon
as this dinner scene is over.
Because she was only at her grandma's for the night.
Yep.
That's the only reason he got that phone number, was to call her that night. God damn
That's why he almost missed it, because he was up talking to her on the phone. That's why Doc had to call him.
But yeah, so now after that's over, he goes home, sketches a ride home. I love that he does this.
It's just normal. This is how he gets around town.
Because this time it's a cop car. The cop doesn't even care. He's just like, whatever.
Yeah, it's fine. Oh, it's McFly.
I'm more surprised the dude must have been upset the first time, because if the cop's cool with it, it's like, why do you give a shit?
Touch my car. I just had it fucking waxed.
When we see him get home, it's our first time ever seeing the Lion Estates logo
it's
on
got
the side
graffiti
of the
and shit all over it too.
Well, yeah, but it's everything.
Yeah, this town is kind of run down.
But yeah, we see the Lion Estates. He gets to his house, finally not completely run down looking. I guess. It's
the yard's mowed and the outside's
that's
clean.
about what we can say. George at least takes care of his house. But then we see the inside. Man, does that inside look rough?
Yeah.
Right? Like it's got those colors where even for 1985, like those were like 70s colors. Like it's never been
orange
done.
almost.
Yeah. You can tell it's never been
Everything
updated.
in the 70s was sepia toned.
Yeah,
we all know this.
And Marty's house is stuck there.
Yeah, it is.
Right?
With a pail of like blue cigarette smoke
as Marty opens the door. Well, as he's walking in to open the door,
the wrecker shows up with the car.
Car's fucked, and he's just like, God, fuck little Marty though. He's only worried about himself. He goes in before he knows anything, and he's just like, what happened to the car? I'm not gonna be able to go on my date. We see a family here that we know is gonna be him, his brother, his sister, and his parents.
Yeah.
He wasn't like, Dad, how are you going to get to work? He wasn't like, bro, what are you doing?
What are you going to do?
Sis, can you still get to college? He was like, how am I going to
How am I going to get out to the woods and get laid?
Fuck Marty, dude.
Doesn't even really seem to kind of get...
He doesn't care.
Like, Biff is there tearing fucking George's ass. Like, it's his fault that he wrecked the car.
And Marty is still just...
he's still just like, but the car, Dad.
The only time that Marty shifts his blame off of his dad to Biff is when Biff makes spilt the beer all over myself. That's... Marty was like, oh, he was drinking?
Yep, so it's definitely your fucking fault.
Plus, at that point, I was also like, God damn, the 80s were a wild time.
You could drink and drive as long as it was under like 3, I think.
I don't think you could, but people definitely just like looked over it, right?
You're not drunk.
Because obviously Biff, like, someone showed up. Like the wrecker showed, like someone knew Biff was drinking.
The cop had to have showed up if he wrecked his car.
Well,
they generally arrive.
Yeah, and so you're just like, God damn. We also gets to see our full relationship between Biff and George for the first time.
Biff's just bullying the shit out of him. Like, hey, you got that work for me. You got to give it to me in time so I could type it up. It would look real bad if I handed something in your handwriting. You trying to get me fired? Yeah, just re-handwrite it. It's even better now. It's in your handwriting.
That's what I said. I was like, if you're that worried about it, but again, he just doesn't want to.
Yeah, but Biff's a big dumb fuck. He probably can't have it. He ain't got them good letters.
Well, and also he's probably just having someone else type it. Does he
probably.
look like the kind of guy that can type?
He's got another nerd that types it up for him.
Well, I'm just saying, does he look like he can type?
No.
Does he look like the type? Yeah. For 1985, like typing actually wasn't that big of a skill for a lot of people.
That's
yet.
true.
Yeah.
Unless you worked in an office.
Yeah. Which obviously they work in some kind of office. We never get a clear idea of what these guys do for work. We just know that Biff
They just move paper from one end of the place to another.
We know that Biff is slightly above George. Like they definitely imply that they're not neck and neck in the job.
No.
He's slightly above George.
Yeah, George is his
like,
underling.
You know, they probably have the same title. It's just one of those like maybe Biff worked there long. Well, again, with the kind of relationship they had, Biff probably got him the job. Like,
yeah. And now Biff's reaping all the benefits. So the boss is like,
well, that's why he got him the job. Biff was like, I'll get you the job because I'll steal all your work.
I'll steal all your work, and I'm gonna get a promotion and a raise. It's gonna be great.
We finally, though, this is our moment. Me and Bo have been waiting for because we've both been slowly nursing the shit into this nasty Miller Lite, guys.
Yep.
This is the moment where we see our Miller Lite. We know that this is what the McFlys drink. Biff steals one from the fridge as he heads out the door.
I do all this stuff for you to bring your car back. It almost kills me, and all you got for me is light beer.
This, though, strikes the point where we see even more selfish Marty because he actually still brings it up again. Yeah. Biff leaves the house and
the last thing Biff says is say hi to your mom for me, and Marty's still just like, but the car, Dad.
Exactly. I was like,
you know how important this was to be?
I was like, dude, like after all that, you can't be mad at the person you should be mad at.
Self-centered bastard.
Because again, like, how easy is it to be mad at Biff?
Can I get a fuck him anything? Right? Can we acknowledge that Biff's an asshole?
If Biff is that big of a dickhead, at least we should talk about that. Like, fuck.
Why do you let him push you around like that, Dad?
Don't take it all out on your dad like the douche. Fuck Marty.
He's not a very likable person in the first, 10 minutes of the movie, is he?
Now we get dinner time. Everybody's rounded up. This was so fun because this was like, let's put every product placement we can think of into one scene.
Yep.
We had the weird boxed peanut brittle. We had
who just eats a bowl of peanut brittle?
I don't know. That was so
just
wild.
Dump it out here.
Well, did you hear it? There was like he didn't open up a bag. It was just peanut brittle in a cardboard box. That could have sat on the fucking store shelf.
That fucking chewy, stale,
right?
Fucking,
that was wild to me, and that was a true product placement, right? Like they were wanting that company probably doesn't exist now, but at the time it did, and I bet you they were trying to be like, get our product, and I was like, nope.
I'm good. I'll make my own. It's easy.
Yeah. But yeah, so we had the peanut brittle, Diet Pepsi, 1 calorie Diet Pepsi. It's important. Budweiser on the table this time, not Miller Lite.
I abstain. I'm not drinking that. No. I already had a Miller Lite. I ain't drinking a Budweiser.
Oh, no, we didn't need to have 3 different. That's excess.
That's a little bit much even.
And again, the whole point's the timey-wimey.
Yeah.
Right? Like the Budweiser's got no timey-wiminess to it. It's fun to say Miller to Miller, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, the Budweiser is on the table in front of Lorraine,
who is drunk.
And also looks like her glass does not have beer in it.
No, there's like a vodka cranberry, man. Yeah, like she's just drinking some straight booze.
So she's just drinking booze and chasing it with a beer while her oldest son is getting ready for his fast food job.
He works at like Moo Cat Castle or something. There's like a little cow on his fucking hat.
Her daughter is complaining about never being able to find a man.
And her mom's just like, it's awful. You women chasing boys. I never did things like that when I was your age.
And again,
George oblivious.
George oblivious to everything
going on.
Every piece of conversation. He's literally just sitting over there with his glass of milk, his peanut brittle, and his Jackie Gleason, and he's happy as a fucking clam. Right? Like that's all he needs.
I kind of envy that shit, man.
Right?
Just completely unbothered by everything.
It's to the point that it's comical though, right? Because like the daughter's trying to bring, like she brings up the dance. She brings up like, oh yeah, how was it that Dad met you? Lorraine's like, what was it you were doing? Bird watching? He literally turns around like, what?
What?
turns right back around. He literally did not know.
Know what the fuck she was
He never
talking
clocked
about.
into any of that conversation.
But Lorraine gives us the backstory. He's like,
Yeah.
my daddy hit him with a car and he just looked so cute. And I just all knew we were going to be together forever. And then he has that fucking laugh. And, the look on her face is like, it may have been a bad decision.
What'd you say it was, Mom? The fish under the sea dance?
Enchantment under the sea dance.
Jeez.
I like fish under the sea dance. That's
it
better.
was so funny. It was such a funny one. But yeah, this I thought was one of those things like the writing is perfect, right? Like the foreshadowing that is going on in this scene is so smooth that you don't notice it's foreshadowing, right? Like it just feels like a normal. Like,
they're just having conversations.
There are so many times you watch a movie that's doing something like this, and it feels like they're hitting you over the head with the fucking frying pan.
Like, hey, this is important. Pay attention. It's going to come back later.
They wrote this so naturally that I'm like, no, that's a conversation. The only thing that we forgot before we move away from this that I want to mention is Jailbird Joey.
Oh, yeah.
She's got the
cake.
She
drops it. They didn't make parole. We got to eat this cake.
Jailbird Joey, one of the favorites of not the McFly family, the Banks family, because it's her brother.
Yeah.
Right? She is Lorraine Banks.
It's true.
But yeah, he's my favorite character that we hear about all the time, though. I got to say that much.
I like later Joey. When we meet him as a baby.
Yeah. When we see the baby, again, that's why he's my favorite. Like every time we get a reference to Joey in a movie, I'm like Joey, Jailbird Joey. Yeah. Mom though is sitting at the table. She's obviously a clear drunk. This sets up a lot of just like family dynamic.
Yeah.
That I'm glad we don't have to see a lot of, and that we do get fixed.
Yeah.
It's one of those times where it's like
you're just kind of left with a sense of like, wow, these are some unhappy fucking people.
Like to the extreme, like on a very deep level. Like this isn't even like surface level.
Like Lorraine regrets every decision since she hooked up with George. George is just such an oblivious,
walled himself.
Yeah, he's just so oblivious to everything. He can't even like figure out that people are fucking with him half the time. He's just like, it's okay.
He always thinks it's a joke. He
just laughs it off.
He laughs like it's everybody. It's okay. That's just
they're
how
my
people
friends.
are. Yeah,
me and Biff are friends.
It is definitely a sad existence, and the movie does a good job of letting you like again. Not in a way that makes you feel sad when you see it, but you definitely know. You recognize that you're like
by the end of the movie when it all gets fixed, you're like, oh, good, because
I would not have wanted him to go back
sucked.
to that. Yeah. Once we finish with all that, we get to wake up Marty in the middle of the night.
It's like 12:30. Fucking Doc's like,
nuts.
Did you fall asleep?
This is nuts. Again, I want to point out, Marty's 17. Marty's a 17-year-old kid. It is 12:30. At a suburban household.
He's lucky Marty's the first one that answered that phone. His mom would have went off.
Who the fuck's calling us at 12:30?
Why are you calling my son at 12:30 in the morning?
And Marty's still going to hear about it either way because people heard it. Even if they didn't get up to go answer it, they heard it. They're going to be like, who the fuck was it?
Yeah, it's not like your cell phone ringing next to you in the bed. Like if there's a phone in the house, they all ring.
Well, and again, like I said, they're going to wake up and they're just going to immediately get, because they don't know who answered it, right? They're going to wake up and be like, who the fuck was it?
Yep.
Because they've all, like we've already established, all of the kids live in the house right now.
Mom and Dad are going to question you while you're trying to leave.
They're going to be like, Marty, was it you? Well, I don't even know the siblings' names. Was it you?
Joel.
Yeah, something. I don't know.
Joel and something else. I can't remember.
You know what I mean? Like, they're going to be like, which one of it? Who was it? Fuck, you don't get no more phone privileges. You know what I mean? Like, that's how this works.
Taking your phone out of your room. We'll pull it right out of the wall.
But yeah, Marty gets reminded, oh shit, all right, okay, I'm on my way. He goes, we see the sign, Twin Pines Mall.
And Doc's sweet van.
Dude.
It's the most planned.
Child molester van?
Big gray box van. Says science services,
no
24
windows
hours.
On it.
Yeah, nothing.
You're just like, okay. You
weird.
See that in the
Why
middle
do you
of the day?
have that?
It's kind of dinged up. You know, you're like, yeah, you see that, and you're like, no, that's somebody kidnapping.
Dr. E. Brown, 24-hour science services.
You're like, the E must stand for evil. Look at that thing.
Dr. Evil Brown. It sounds like a dirty sex move. I don't want an Evil Brown.
But on top of that, even if we know it is legit, and it's just like, so what? Who pays him to do what? Like, other than we know the Libyans, but other than the Libyans, who is seeing that van and like, I have some science
I need done. What's your hourly rate, sir?
Maybe a teacher? They're like, do you think you can come do some experiments for my class?
A grad student? I need help on this theorem.
You think there's a college in Hill Valley? I think you're really pushing it.
He has a van he can drive.
That thing doesn't look like it's going that far.
It's true. It's got the DeLorean. You know, he drove it around before he rigged it out.
All right. Yeah. So once Marty pulls up, that's right. Doc wastes no time. Doc is immediately just like, I'm glad you're here. Start recording.
Start rolling the camera.
Fucking immediately DeLorean. No time to waste.
So awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it's iconic. I mean,
you know the scene. The door open, it just grumbles to life and backs out, and it's got the huge fucking vent things.
Whatever they are.
Whatever the hell they are.
Because they look like it's supposed to be fire that comes out of them. Like it's some kind of weird, but there's nothing that ever comes out of them. And I think it's not pipes. I think you see that it's like flat metal on the end, and it's like, what's it capped off? I don't even understand. But then we find out this thing doesn't. Well, we see the whole thing. Sorry, I don't want to jump ahead, but yeah, it runs on electricity. So I would imagine we don't need exhaust.
Yeah, I would imagine.
So it would be some kind of conductor, right?
Yeah,
maybe some kind of specialty capacitor. I don't know.
Runs on plutonium.
Well, we find that out because once it gets out, he's just like. Well, we get a few clues, first off, that it runs on plutonium. If you pay attention in the beginning, the plutonium box was at Doc's house.
Yeah, it's right there under the bed.
Doc comes out of the thing wearing the radiation suit, and Marty starts to ask him about it. Marty is literally like, are you what? And he cuts him off and is like, yeah,
start recording.
But yeah, so there's a few clues that maybe something's up here. But Marty just immediately starts taping it before we can really get anything going on. Doc just shoves those clocks. 119, you see? Right. Well, it's 118. We watched them go to 119. That's his proof.
Yep.
Did you see?
They were perfectly synced.
Perfectly synced.
The one on Einstein and mine.
Do you know how hard that would have been?
That would have been super fucking hard.
I've done stuff like that with that type of
two stopwatches.
I give kudos to Doc Brown for the amount of time that it must have taken him to set. It was probably every minute from the 8:25 phone call in the morning until right then was him making sure the stopwatches were right.
Trying to sync it up. That's what he was doing in the van when Marty showed up. It's like, fucking god damn it.
I need them both be the same time.
This time. Fuck.
But yeah, he's like, look, I just need you to see this. Then he pulls out the fucking control, right? He gets Einstein's in the car and he closes the door. He pulls out this remote control. Marty, again, gets cut off as he's literally like, Doc, did you make a... He's like, yeah, watch.
Yeah, watch. You can just pay a fuck attention.
He's like, all right, so I've made this thing. He's telling Marty a little bit. Again, right now it's all science-y, why-y, timey-wimey, right? Like it doesn't make sense. But if you actually try to piece together the fake jargon he's using, he does say it's time travel.
Yeah.
It just is weird. Yeah, it's weird jargony something, but he does technically say it's time travel. He's like, watch what happens. And he's like, he goes up. He's like, blah, 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 blah. He's like, we got to get it up. Well, he starts just driving it, right? He's like flooring it. And Marty's like,
he's do a little couple of donuts, show off his remote control car.
Marty's like, what are you going to do with it? Well, if my calculations are right, when this baby gets to 88 miles per hour, you're going to see some serious shit. I fucking love that line, dude.
Oh, they're right in front of it, and he's just gunning it, and they're spinning fucking tires.
He finally pushes it, right? They look at each other for a split moment where you're like you can tell Marty's like, you know that's coming at us.
Yeah, Marty even tries to like take a step away, and he grabs and pulls him back.
Doc's just like, no,
it's going to be fine.
Trust me. Wait for it.
Even for a second, Doc's like, oh shit, I might have fucked up, because his eyes get real big right before the car disappears. The iconic fucking fire tires.
Think about it, because everything Doc says definitely lets us know this is the trial run.
Yep.
He has no idea
if it's actually going to work.
He has no idea. Well, even if it works, he doesn't know
how it works. Into the vortex.
What if this was like a Stargate style wormhole and it just obliterated them?
Yeah. That would suck.
Well, think about the shit. Again, it's 1.21 gigawatts of
lot
electricity.
Of power. They're just charred bones.
There's fire on the ground. The plate is spinning.
When it's going, there's this big energy wave in front of it.
So again, It's not even just if it would.
They were atomized, real life. Real life
it's literally
physics,
like
they're
if
gone.
it did work, the theoretical shit that maybe they wouldn't have existed. There's so many reasons why it was not a good idea for Doc to say, "I'm gonna drive it right at us."
Because it made a good camera
it
visual.
does. No, it's great. Like, I mean, we know why it happened. I'm just
Doc
saying.
knew that. He's got his.
But once he does this, he also we get to see Marty do the dumbest thing I've ever seen. That plate was literally
smoking.
It was sitting in the fire. You
Yeah.
can see it. He picks it up with a piece of it in the fire. It's metal.
Of course, it's
metal
hot,
conducts
dumbass.
heat. It doesn't matter if the part you're touching isn't in the fire. It's all gonna be fucking hot.
Right. I don't feel bad for him.
No,
you deserve that thumb burn, dumbass.
It is the first time we get to see what the license plate said.
Oh shit! I knew what it said.
Oh, you don't know?
It's gone.
Out of time.
Yeah, out of time. I was like, back in time. That's wrong.
No,
what was it?
Out of time. OUTATIME. Out of time.
As soon as you said it, I was like, I know it. Why can't I remember it?
Well, because it's one of those. It's famous because we see it a bunch after this.
Yep.
Because even though it should never be on the fucking car again, it does end up on the
episode
car again.
of American Dad where they have the DeLorean. It says out of time on it.
Well, it's one of those few continuity things where it's like we'll let them have the past because I want to see out of time on the fucking DeLorean again.
If I had one, I'd have that license.
Or I guess maybe it's not even a continuity thing. No, they all tied directly. Like there's no time. I don't know.
There's no time.
They're out
like
of time. I don't know. I don't want to put too much thought into it.
No time like present time.
Yeah, but like we said, they do survive. There was lots of time. As they're waiting, though, this is when Doc finally really breaks down what happened.
Yeah,
right? He's like,
Einie's the first person in history to travel through time.
That's why I created a device that allows time travel.
Wait a minute. You built a time machine
out of a DeLorean?
Out of a DeLorean?
Well, I figured,
why
not go out in some style?
If you're gonna do it, it might as well be stylish. And I'm like, I couldn't agree more.
God damn it, right? Well, do you know the story to that though? That's actually one of those things that comes from like producers.
Oh, does it?
Or something like, it's originally the script was like totally Indiana Jones style. I think it was going to be like a fucked up Marty in a refrigerator or some shit. Like there was no real, because radiation. You know, it was like maybe, I don't know. But the original story was going to be way different on how the time, it wasn't a DeLorean. It wasn't, or maybe even at one point it was going to be a beat up old pickup truck. Because think about it, it was Doc Brown. Like somebody was like, people are gonna like it better. If
that was a very smart decision.
Yeah, it was. Dude, the DeLorean
some beat up old '67 Chevy or something.
Yeah, no. If you gave me Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, but we're like, it's my new time travel machine right now, I'd have been like, I'm not good with that.
No,
the DeLorean makes it.
Is it because of the stainless steel fucking body and shit?
So again,
sleek.
I know I've heard this. I don't know who it was, but I say we need to make sure we give kudos. Somebody made the right call.
Spielberg's taking credit for it.
Don't be mad until we know that, Bo.
Until I'm proven otherwise. I am very angry about it.
Then though he tells him, he's like, yes, if everything works right, then Einstein should be showing back up.
Get out of the way.
Car comes breaking in hardcore. I guess one of those switches he must have flipped already was like the e-brake, so that way when it came through, it
smash
automatically just stop, right?
It's a very, very dark movie. The DeLorean crashes, the van explodes, dog dies.
He runs up and opens the door.
Is it hot?
And he yells back to Marty like Marty was stupid for asking. It's cold. Ice cold. All fairness, Doc, we just saw lightning and fire.
He's like, I burnt myself a second ago.
Marty has every reason to think it was heat that it was going to be here.
But Einstein's fine. His clock is a little different.
Einstein is, he seems okay.
Yeah, the clock on his
is exactly 1 minute.
Yep, 1 minute behind now. Because his trip was instant.
Time travel, that's right. He got here, as the doctor would say, he took the fast way, they took the slow way.
Yeah, you took the slow way. I took a shortcut.
Yeah, so he then though shows him the full workings of the time machine, right? He's like, look, this is before the flux capacitor, he gives him the display. He's like, check this out. So this shows you where you came from, where you're gonna be, where you, like he gives him the whole rundown, where you are, where you're going, where you've been.
See the signing of the Declaration of Independence, the birth of Christ.
You want to see this? You want to see this? or do you want to go to November 5th, 1955, or November something?
I think that's right.
November 5th, 1955, and literally, even the doc for a split second was like, "Why that one?"
Oh yeah, that's the day I invented time travel.
I invented this.
I was putting a clock up on my bathroom and it fell off the toilet, hit my head, and I dreamed up this, and shows us the flux capacitor, flicks it on.
This is the thing that allows the ability to travel through time.
I'm not going to explain how or why, but just trust me that that's how it works.
All right. He's like, okay, Doc. I'm going to trust you.
Yeah, sure.
Marty goes with this so fast. Like, don't get me wrong. He saw some crazy shit, but like, he's just like,
all right, cool.
Okay.
I'm just the camera guy.
For 30 years, you've known that you can make time travel. You just finally did it. Okay, sure, Doc. Okay.
Technology finally caught up with my idea.
Well, this is when we get to hear why, though, right? Like, Marty's like, he's like, so what's this sucker run on? Regular.
Yeah, it's completely electrical. Gas? Runs on plutonium. You mean plutonium? Did you rip that off? Yes.
Well,
okay.
No, he goes, it's plutonium, and then Marty goes, so it's radioactive? No, it's electrical.
No, it's electrical.
I just use the plutonium to make the reaction that I need to power the. Yeah, I love the way
to get the 1.21 gigawatts to create enough power to open the wormhole to blow up the universe. Science.
I love him. Love it. I love the whole.
He talks. He does it all really fast.
Yes,
so
it's so good too.
I can't talk that fast.
Again, as he's watching all this, Marty is just like, it's so funny to watch him. He's just like dumbfounded the whole time, like.
Yeah, because where the hell do you get a box of fucking plutonium from?
Then the doc, I love how nonchalant Doc Brown is about this. He's just like, oh yeah, I
stole it from some Libyans.
They wanted me to make a bomb.
I just
gave them the innards of a pinball machine
in a missile casing.
And I stole their plutonium.
They'll never know the difference. Dumbasses.
I fucking love the way he was about that.
Right?
He was so, like
he's
so
just
funny.
Smiling about it. It's like, ha ha.
You're just like, okay, Doc, you're a fucking madman. You are.
But they suit up. You got to, right? So they can reload the DeLorean.
This was so dope. Like the plutonium inside the water thing.
Yeah, and you turn it and it goes.
And as soon as it went in, he just goes,
all right, we're good.
We're safe.
Yep.
Lead interior. Lead lined.
Sure. I believe you, Doc.
Doc did a lot of work.
Yeah,
he lined the innards of, like, I guess where the gas used to go. Because
probably
when he says it's completely electrical, right? Like, is he implying like it? Like,
it's like
he
a
made
battery.
the first electric car?
Yeah.
Like no gas
fucking
needed ever.
Musk ripping off fucking Doc Brown.
That's what I'm saying.
Get an original idea.
Yeah. So he starts to tell Marty, like, okay, I'm gonna
go.
I need you to record. I'm gonna go. I'm off to the future.
Like 30 years into the future?
No, I think 30 is when at the end when he still says it.
Yeah.
Because he's like, it's his joke because it's what they just dealt with. He's like, it seems like a nice round number because it worked out the first time. This time he's just like, I'm not sure, but not too far. He's like, and Marty's like, well, look me up when you get there.
And he starts to go and he's like, oh,
I almost forgot.
I got to take more plutonium. I would have went there with no way back. Foreshadowing.
Yes. And then as soon as he starts, he doesn't even get very far. He just like bends down. You hear like screeching tires into the fucking parking lot. Doc looks up.
Oh, they found me.
Marty is, I love this. Marty he doesn't turn the camera.
No, he's just
Marty hears the screeching tires, hears Doc say they found me, and still just keeps the camera on Doc. And again, the camera stays there, but if you watch the scene, Marty never looks at the Libyans. Like he still is just like looking at Doc like, Doc will tell me.
Yep. I don't know how they found me, but they found me. Run for it, Marty!
What? And then
he finally turns the fuck around.
And the second he turns around, he lets the camera down, which is why our footage stops.
Yep.
Those guys wasted fucking no time.
Nope, they just immediately gunned down fucking Doc.
I was, like, it's the kind of thing where, like, it's abrupt. His body flies. You're just like, God damn.
A nice bump. Just flies back.
Marty's like, what am I going to do? Oh, shit.
Jumps into the DeLorean.
Like he forgot.
Right? They just kind of go around the parking lot couple of times. I like that. Just like a drive this way, gonna turn, gonna drive back that way, gonna
Well,
turn.
plus we get to see because this is 1985, so Cold War, like we hate Russians is hardcore in effect, right? Those are Russian AKs, right?
Oh, yeah.
They're totally making the joke
Russian
that Russian
RPGs.
AKs don't work. That's why we keep
It
seeing
keeps
it.
jamming. That's the most unrealistic thing about this whole scene.
I know, but again, that's
Propaganda. It's all propaganda.
That's American Cold War propaganda.
Yeah, it is.
Russian AKs are pieces of shit. In 1985. That's what they want you to think because they don't want you to be afraid of the Russian invasion.
That van could have ran over that AK. The dude could have picked it up and still would have shot.
In 1985, Americans didn't need to know that.
It is a terrible weapon. That's a commie weapon.
It is a very funny thing to see, though. But yeah, they go all over. Everything doesn't work. The RPG does misaligned, I guess. I don't know. The guns, it jams so many times. It's outrageous how many, like, because if you actually pay attention, like, they zoom in the one time, but if you keep watching him, like, he like keeps dealing with it, jamming.
Fucking ramming the fucking bolt back and forth because it's not feeding.
Then finally, Marty like gets to where he's got a long straight runaway, right?
And see if you bastards can do 90
and
floors it.
It's key to point out that before that happened, though, all of the time stuff was off. When he fucking kicks it back, he like elbows the switch and turns it on. And it makes an audible sound.
Yep, it goes. Bloop.
How does he not understand? Well, and again, like that front panel got right.
It lights up. I think I would have, even being shot at it, been like, what the hell was that?
And been like, oh, it's on.
That's probably not good.
I probably should,
but I can't stop.
But at least you did
slow down.
You'd have figured something
I'd
out,
have kept
right?
it under 88.
But my next question to you is, again, we were establishing Marty definitely was not thinking he was about to time travel. He was totally
just running for his life.
He was gonna run into the photo booth. What was his plan?
Blow up, take them with him.
Right? Like, do you understand? Like,
my friend Doc is dead.
If he wouldn't have time traveled, he totally also would have hit that photo booth. Because yes, the van wasn't directly behind him, but they were like close enough that they both would have.
Yeah, they both would have smashed through it.
I don't understand what he was about to do if it wasn't time travel.
Gave up.
Like he just got right. Like he just got lucky that it time traveled.
Jesus, take the wheel.
Marty was about to like suicide himself.
He got super religious all of a sudden. God, take over.
But so we get time travel. He bursts back in time.
He smashes right into a barn.
I love this. Well, and through a tree. Or no,
that's when he's leaving. After
I almost jumped the gun.
After they start shooting at him.
That's right. He gets here. It's the Peabody farm, Old Man Peabody, which we did get told already, but we hear again because they're all yelling, "Pa Peabody."
There's somebody in the barn.
All right, let's get out there.
Some kind of monster. That's no monster, Paul. It's an alien. Holds
from
up
outer space. Wait. Well, at first he says it's a UFO. And then Marty gets out of the car. And that's when he shows them the comic book. I fucking love this.
Right.
Because Marty looks
just like the cover.
It's like so...
The spaceship in the cover even looks kind of like a DeLorean.
It's just enough different that's the only difference. Like, I mean, the spacesuit is almost spot on a radiation suit. Like, I love that so much.
I would have flipped out. Yeah, like that's just like what
I
read.
And Dad buys it. Like, because the next thing you hear from Dad is like... the kid says, "Oh, he can shapeshift when he thinks
he's taking human form."
Dad just is like, "You shapeshifting mutant son of a," you know what I mean? Like Old Man Peabody is in on it.
He ain't fucking around, man.
He believes everything his son had to say. I gotta stop you though. This is one of our fun time travel pop culture things that makes it into the movie that maybe you didn't catch. It's Old Man Peabody. Did you hear what his son's name is? Sherman. Sherman and Mr.
Peabody. Nice. I didn't catch that.
That's good, right?
That's good.
This is again knowledge from the DVD.
Bring that shit back. We have all this streaming shit. There's no reason there shouldn't be like an option for behind the scenes stuff. Why is yours like that? Mine's not doing that.
I don't know.
Watch. See?
I don't know.
I'm not getting bubbles like yours are.
Maybe I'm too salty. Or you're too salty. Salt makes bubbles stop, right?
I am a salty bitch. That is true.
Maybe that's what it is. All right. let's get back on track here.
See,
my beer
he
sidelined.
jumps back in the DeLorean and drives
Now's when he
off.
floors it. Now's when he kills
Smashes
the tree.
You killed one of my trees, you son of a bitch.
And now is why it gets the change for later on. It's the
Lone Pine.
We don't see it for a long time, but it is officially now.
The
You know what I mean?
Lone Pine Mall.
This change has happened, and it will not be
Because one of his trees died.
Well, because he was cloning. That's
Oh,
what he
is
said.
that what it was?
Doc said he was trying to clone trees, and so that was the twin pine would imply he successfully cloned one. Never did it again, though. I guess because like, what?
He did it. Why do it again? I've already accomplished that feat.
But yeah, so they killed one of the twins, and so now it's the Lone Pine Mall because again, the dude still did it, and so he's like you said, he was proud of it. So
yeah, and now he's sad, so it's the Lonely Pine.
Yes, that is it. Once he makes it out of there, shortly after that, though, the car dies.
Yep, like right in front of the
sign,
the Lions Estate signs, like coming soon.
Perfect place. This is also though where I guess it is proven that it must have been an electric car.
Yeah,
right? Like he says it's the starter, but I totally think that it's not the starter. It's just it's out of power.
Yeah, it doesn't have enough plutonium left to even start.
Well, it's not even that.
It's got a small nuclear reactor running this thing.
Yeah, and so there's no more electricity, and so he can't. That battery.
Yep, it's done. You're lucky the lights came on.
Exactly. You're lucky that you were.
Your car's dead when it doesn't even make that clicking noise. It's
you're lucky
nothing.
You were able to slide it into neutral, so you could push it like you do.
Exactly.
Yeah, so he hides it because he knows he needs.
He barely hides it. It's got like two branches on top of it.
Well, the funniest thing to me is that he sees this sign and he knows that's what the sign is, and it's like he doesn't pay attention to it,
right?
Because he's still pseudo oblivious to the fact that he's in 1955, right? Like he's still not he's just fully acknowledging that.
I live in a place called Lions Estate. That's weird.
That's weird, right? That's kind of how he acts about this. It's not until he then walks into town.
Mr. Sandman. Love this shit.
Right?
It's like, because the town's super nice now. Like the most picturesque 1950s town ever.
Right? You're just like, God, wow, man.
So we got like the
Hill Valley, really.
The gas station attendants are all standing there all prim and stuff in the car, and they all jump to work. Fucking love it.
My exact note when I saw this was, moments like this are exactly why the old people are justified when they say it was better back then.
Stuff like this.
Marty,
can we have this? Let's do the 50s, but without like the racism and shit, right?
Yeah, well, that's what I was gonna say. Like, technically, the movie does make a point, so that way you get back to where you're like, oh yeah, maybe the 50s aren't that great.
It's not that great. It just seemed really nice on the outside.
Marty does though. He is walking through just totally like dumbfounded by everything, and is just like he is now the testament to when old people tell him. He's gonna be like, no, I mean, seen it. Grandpa was right.
It was super nice.
That was cool, and it looked good.
Everything was like technicolored for some reason.
He then looks up as he's walking, and he's like, payphone. That's where I need to go.
Yeah, I need to go in there. For the payphone is inside the diner for some reason.
Well, and
is this before street payphones?
Well, so
did they have those in the 50s?
I don't know, but so like again, at this point, he knows he's in the past. He's finally
he saw the newspaper.
He finally fully clocked. Well, even you don't even need to see it, dude. Like, look at your surround. Like he knew, right? Like
the audience needed.
I know, yeah. But so
that's
like
why that shot.
But I'm just saying though, at this point, he knows that he's going in here. So my question to you is, why did he need to look up Doc Brown's address?
Yeah, shouldn't he know where he lives?
How
has he moved?
Well, no, this is what I want to tell you. So how good of friends are they supposed to be? From this point on, if you paid attention, literally Marty is shocked every time he realizes that it's the same address and that Doc Brown had a house. Even though we as the audience saw that thing in the newspaper, it's like Marty didn't never read it, and he never talked to Doc about it, and he didn't realize that Doc lived in the garage of his old family estate. Like, I'm telling you, if you go home and watch it one more time. I know you probably watched it too many, but I mean, it's Back to the Future.
You can never watch it too many times. It's a ridiculous statement, sir.
Literally, like, even when he goes to Doc's house the first time, way late after this, you'll see him shocked as he sees the garage and then turns and sees
like,
the
big house.
There's a house. Meaning he never knew there was a house. Meaning,
He never looked at the wall.
I'm telling you, this is what I'm saying.
Doc never mentioned
how
it.
good of friends were they?
Couldn't have been that good of friends. You didn't even know his house burned down.
Right?
You feel like Doc would have mentioned it a couple times.
Oh, he definitely
Hey,
would.
Doc, why do you live in a garage? Oh, my house burned down back in like 74. You weren't here yet.
So he goes in, he gets, he looks for the Doc Brown, which is at least justifiable. It's the only person he at least didn't clock. I shouldn't look up my parents.
Yeah, because
he does fuck everything up from every interaction from this point on with his parents. But at least the first thought was,
I needed to get to Doc.
Who I should call, right? Like,
Doc can help me.
So he but he doesn't try to call him.
No, he just tears
and leaves
and fucks off.
And I was like,
he asks the guy behind the counter where to go. He's like, I'm not answering any questions until you buy something.
And so he sits down. He's like, okay, give me a Pepsi free.
I'm not giving you a free Pepsi. You got to pay for that.
Well, no, I mean, just give me something with no sugar.
Coffee.
I was like, you're giving this because again, he's 17, but Michael J. Fox looked like 15.
Yeah, he's
little. He was in the next one. He looked like 20 because he was probably only 18. He was probably doing Family Ties still at this time for this one. I know for a fact he was still doing Family Ties for this one. Actually,
that show.
Yeah. So he was actually this young. This wasn't one of those get an older person. No. It's just that he stayed that character when he was an older person. That's why it messes with your head.
Now we need to do Back to the Future 4, bring him back so we can just digitally redo his face and it'll just be an atrocious horror show.
No. If we do 4, he gets to be his own age and he is now helping some new person who's time traveling. That's the way new things work.
No, I don't want to do that. No, gotta make it as horrible as possible. It's completely CGI his face.
But so once he gets his cup of coffee, he is very upset and Biff kicks in the door.
McFly, you done with my homework? Looks around.
It's at this point,
2 McFlys now.
It's at this point he realizes
I'm
who was
next to my dad.
Yeah. Again, George looked if anything, second George looked more different from this George than first George. Like not the
first George looks spot on. It's almost the same
literally
shirt.
this guy with glasses.
Yeah, it's it. Clark Kent,
I guess.
He didn't have the glasses.
It was weird to me that he didn't clock that was his dad.
They're even sitting the same way, doing it like the whole.
Yeah, Biff starts yelling for the McFly. We almost get the repeat from 2. Like this is a repeat from 2, but we literally almost even get the same thing where he jumps down before George could.
Yeah.
But right before he does is when he does the, oh shit, that's my daddy.
You're George McFly. Yeah, because after Biff leaves, he's staring at him, and he's just like, "What?
No,
what are you staring at me for?"
I love the stare down, dude. Like the way he does it for so long. George plays it out. He's so good. George is just like
trying to eat his cereal, trying to ignore him,
and then finally,
what the fuck do you want?
It's really good. I also though want to point out, like again, I love Crispin Glover. I love George, like the way he does, especially everything in the 50s. I love this. Did you see his way of deciding to eat as George McFly at this table? There is so much milk and cereal on the floor. It's crazy. Every time it's
like dripping out of his mouth.
Well, and the spoon, dude, like he'll just randomly
barely holding the tip of the spoon.
He'll turn the spoon and like drop. I'm like, dude, that's a weird character choice because most of us would literally have just let go of the spoon.
Yeah. I try to ignore people eating. I think it's gross.
That's
so
fair.
I just tune it out. But he does hold the spoon weird. I didn't notice that. He's like holding it like he's afraid of it.
While they're talking is when we finally get to see Mayor Goldie Wilson.
He's like, man, McFly, you need to stand up for yourself. You think I'm going to be just pushing a broom around this place all the time? And Marty's just like, oh, yeah, you're going to be mayor. And he's just like, yeah, that's right.
No.
Yeah, what? I like the sound of that. Mayor Goldie Wilson.
I'm going to clean up this town.
The fuck you are. This town is way worse when you're mayor, apparently.
Yeah, as soon as he says that is when the racism...
Because it says re-election. I want to point out. Re-elect Mayor Goldie Wilson. He had a chance.
Yeah. That is when the real racism comes through, though, right? Like, we won't even deal with it. The one guy is like, nope.
Yeah, that ain't never going to happen. He's just like, you'll see. I will, and I'm going to be great.
but proving the point that maybe the 50s isn't all great.
That's what I said. We need to do like all of it, but the racism and shit.
Exactly.
All the bad stuff. Get rid of that.
It's not all Mr. Sandman and like Texaco stations.
That's what I want. I want that, but without the racism.
At this point, though, he realizes George has left.
Yep, he's gone.
Got to chase him down. This is one of my favorite parts where we finally get to see that moment that Lorraine talked about earlier.
Where
he couldn't find him, and then he sees his bike against the tree.
And he looks up, and he's just up in a tree.
And at first, he almost does buy the bird watching, right? Like he sees his dad, he's in the tree, he's got the binoculars, and he's kind of like, okay. But then he follows the path. Where is he? What's he doing?
He's a peeping
Tom. He's staring at Lorraine.
And this is where the movies fucking lied to me started. I was brought up as a kid thinking that girls just for some goddamn reason just changed their clothes in front of open windows. Never happened. Completely lied to my whole life.
Definitely.
I'm still waiting for just to walk past a random window, hot chick getting changed. Where is it? Fuck you, Hollywood.
It's just, you're not gonna get that, dude.
I know. It lied to me. I'm heartbroken.
Yeah, though, as soon as all this, he clocks what's going on, George falls out of the tree. What does Marty do?
He pushes him out of the fucking way like a
Marty.
dumbass.
Fucking Marty.
You know how this story is supposed to go.
You literally just were at dinner listening to this story.
Like fucking 4 hours ago.
Your time, right?
Yeah.
Like, come on, Marty. Come on.
No, pushes him out of the way and he gets hit by the car.
We hear Lorraine's dad step out, Marty's grandpa, and he yells to his wife, I hit another one.
Another one of these damn kids jumped in front of my car.
How many kids has he hit?
If Lorraine's fucking just changing with her window open, I imagine it happens a lot. Because Leah Thompson is hot as balls.
Good point. I didn't even think about that. That is a fair point.
Her dad should be just sitting on the fucking porch with a BB gun. Anytime he sees a guy on a bike riding past, just peg him. Pop.
This is when we get our next one of those staple scenes that's in every movie. It's the wake up in the dark, hearing the...
I think it's a dream. No, don't worry. It wasn't a dream. You're safe in 1955.
Well...
1885.
I want to point out, or 1985, but it's the wrong
one. Alternate 1885.
I want to point out the craziest part about this time is, did you listen to the voice? She's doing the
1985
voice.
She's doing the drunk mom voice.
It's raspy and like cigarette broken.
Oh, well, don't worry about it, sweetie. It's like, and then soon
as
he wakes up,
and
it's not.
It's sweet teenager.
Yeah, sweet teenager, sweet horny teenager.
Oh yeah,
she is so fucking thirsty in this scene
from the get, dude.
She is so happy to have a boy in her room. Any boy, it seems.
Oh, definitely.
She took his pants.
I wanted to address that.
She took his pants. Because when mom hollers, she's like, shit, put him back on.
Meaning that nobody else knew that they were off.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm glad that you said
I caught that too.
So
I did not, until watching it this time, realize just how horny fucking Marty's mom was.
It was bad. But yeah, this is when we get our famous moment where, she's like, Calvin?
It's all over your underwear. Calvin Klein.
Oh. But people call me Marty. Calvin Marty Klein. Then they head downstairs. We get a weird, like, reflection to the earlier dinner scene. Like, it's made to feel like the same.
Yeah,
like, you're like, oh, this is why Lorraine's house felt that way for dinner time.
Because this is how her dad did.
Pseudo-reflecting
rolls the TV
It's all, exactly, it's all the same. They're watching dinner.
It's Jackie Gleason again. He's like, I remember this one. It's the one where he dresses up like a robot.
Yes.
And they all look at him like, it's brand new. What do you mean you remember it?
Oh, I saw it already as a rerun.
What's a rerun?
You'll find out soon.
That kid was on something. What do you know?
The Wonder Years. He's the older brother in the Wonder Years.
I thought.
He's just like literally so young.
I was like, it's not like Ben Savage was on the show.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. You got it.
I got it. I just forgot the title of the show.
It was a very fun little scene though, we get our jailbird Joey, the one that you were like, this is why I like jailbird Joey.
Because he's in the little playpen.
Well,
and
Marty
Marty's
makes the
like-
joke first.
He's
right?
like, hey, get used to it, man.
And then the mom makes the same joke, not knowing that Marty said it, right? Like the mom goes, yeah, Joey loves that thing.
he just
Screams-
cries anytime we
screams
take him out. So we just leave him in there. It's like, oh, he's one of those. He just likes
I
being
love-
in jail.
I love that we get the joke like double whammy. That like Marty makes it, and then unbeknownst, the mom comes.
This
and
is
just,
like, yeah, he likes
reaffirms-
being
yeah.
behind bars.
That was so good.
It's his happy place.
That was so good. Yeah, once all of it's done though, Marty asks again about the address to Doc Brown's house.
Yeah,
Again,
but-
I tell you, I don't care.
Shouldn't we know?
Well, this is what I was going to say to you. This proves that he didn't know it was the same place as the estate. He didn't know there was an estate, because if he
Yep.
knew that, he would have known it was there in the 50s, right?
Yep.
He would have known it was the garage.
Of the estate that used to be there.
And so then it wouldn't matter what because the whole scene is to point out the fact that street names change, right?
Yeah, because he's like, oh, it's past John.
Well,
John
and that's
F.
why
Kennedy
he
or
didn't
whatever.
recognize what was in the phone book
Yeah,
to be the same, because it's also not the same street name, right?
Yep.
Because again,
they change.
and so again, that's all the scene's for. But my point to you, like you were already saying, is if he would have known that the doc has been in the same family estate, and that's just the garage of that estate since 1955, you don't need to know street names. He just would have walked to the location.
Yeah, you should.
He knew where the house
Yeah.
was.
I know which direction to go. I don't know fucking street names. I know how to get around town.
And so
I'm
again,
like, oh no, that's over that way.
yeah, so yeah, to me, that was the final nail in the coffin to say that Marty was such a bad friend.
He's a terrible friend.
that he didn't know that Doc Brown was living in a garage of a burnt down family estate.
terrible friend. Marty's an
Terrible friend,
asshole.
dude.
We're lear-
Terrible friend.
We're learning dark truths here on Kentucky Fried Critics.
Uh,
Marty McFly is actually the villain of the story.
At this point, he gets to the Doc's house.
After he fucking just bolts after.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Because Lorraine is like, well,
She
shouldn't
gets
he like
frisky.
spend the night and like stay in my room and like or grabs his leg and shit?
She starts to get frisky with him, and he was just
right
like,
in front of her mom and dad. She's got like horny face. It's like, shouldn't he like stay in my room?
"No, honey."
No.
So Marty
That was
runs.
her mom. I'd smack shit out of her as soon as he left. Like, you
Well-
calm that shit down.
Marty runs, rightfully so.
Yeah.
He gets to the Doc's house. This again, like I told you, he looks, he sees the garage, and he's like, "Ah, I know that
There
building."
it is. And he's like,
And then
wait,
he looks and he's
there's
like,
this giant
so-
house. Where'd this come
He's very
from?
surprised, meaning again, he didn't.
I need
know
to go
it
back
ever
and like
existed.
watch. Do they show the outside of the garage? Is it like covered with trees where the old house used to be or something?
No, originally, like in the
Yeah,
like, you
like
mean
the
in
beginning
1985? No,
Yeah.
in 1985, it's set in the middle of like 3 freeways,
Oh, so they've just built around.
or
it.
maybe a Burger King.
Oh.
Like it's literally, yeah, like they got built like
got built up around
yeah,
it.
after the house burnt down, it was a vacant lot.
I mean, I had to fund his research, sell the property off.
Yeah, probably. Well, again, it was a
I
vacant
mean,
lot.
DeLoreans aren't cheap.
But yeah, so he walks up to the door, still very confused.
Fucking love this.
Knocks on it.
This
Doc
is the
opens.
best.
This
It's
is
the thing on his head.
well, and I love it because it shows you that he's the same Doc as what we saw before,
Yep.
right? Because he
Exact same.
instantly starts just like how Doc was when he showed up at the parking
Doesn't
lot,
let
right?
him talk.
There's no time. He's just like, I need you. You come
Don't
with
say
me.
a word. Come inside. Fucking like smacks it onto his fucking head.
You're here. You've come a great distance.
Yeah, Doc.
That was true. That was true.
Yep.
It worked.
No talking. I'm gonna figure it out.
I don't remember all of the things he said. Some of them were wrong. I want to point out, though, that one of the things he said was also, "You're here for donations." I feel like he was psychically reading. Marty is still where again, the whole reason he saves the day is because he's got the donation paper
Yeah,
in his pocket.
that's true.
What if this thing works?
On a
What
small
if
level,
this thing works?
it
What if
does-
Doc
it just needs more research.
it needs fine tuning?
It does.
Doc said it was wasted, and it might actually have worked.
You need to revisit that technology, Doc. I think you were onto something. Like 10 more years R&D, you'd have cracked it.
But yeah, at this point, Marty is just like, "Stop, listen,
Yeah,
I need
he
to talk
pulls
to
the
you.
thing off.
Like, you got to hear me out." And
I'm from the future. You built a time machine that sent
it
me
worked.
back here.
I'm here because of it. And literally, I love this. Doc goes, wait. So then you're telling me This thing is a piece of
crap. It doesn't work. He's ripping the thing off.
Is comedy gold. The way the pause where you're like, oh, he's on.
Oh, he's processing it. He's like, oh, he's gonna freak out. And he's like, no, my invention still doesn't work. God damn it.
I absolutely fucking love that. Right. Yeah, at this point though, the doc is totally still just like trying to listen to him, trying to believe him. Marty's pulling out evidence.
Look at my ID. Like I wasn't even born yet. Look at this picture of my sister and brother.
Shirt, class of '85.
That's some bad Photoshop. They've cut your brother's hair off.
First clue of what's happening, and Marty didn't even pay attention.
I didn't pick up on it until I watched it this time. I was like, oh, that's a nice little detail I never noticed.
And did you look at the picture? It really
it is.
Like,
it's just his hair's kind of fading off.
You can see you can see tree right through it. Yeah, dude. I was like, man,
that is a nice detail.
Yeah, it is definitely one of those things though. Like,
called it Photoshop. When Photoshop back then.
Yeah, whatever. Well, the doc says like photo manipulation. I think that's what he says. That. Yeah, like it's an obvious example of photo manipulation here. The hair is missing.
Fucking cut off your brother's hair.
Loved it.
And he's like, all right, finally. He's just like, all right, if Mr. Future Man, if you're from the future, who's president in 1985?
Future boy. Again,
Future
Michael J.
boy.
Fox looks young. Future boy.
Ronald Reagan.
Oh, sure. The actor?
Yes.
I love that. I love the next 5 minutes where he just starts naming every political office and be like, must be this person. And
who's the Secretary of State? Jerry Lewis?
I love it, dude. It's so funny. Again, because to me, that was peak Christopher Lloyd. Right? Like, that's when you're like, okay.
Suppose Liv Tyler is the Secretary of State.
That was when it was like, look, I don't care who you are. Like Christopher Lloyd, like shine. Like there was no more Doc Brown. Like just like straight Christopher Lloyd came out of like the performance of that. Like, and I love it because I was just like, yes, dude, he's so funny. At this point though, he does start to. No, wait, what happened? Why does he finally believe him?
I can't fucking remember, so I'm looking at my notes.
Oh, he takes him to the time machine. I got it. The doc finally, he throws him out. Once he throws him out, remember it's the touching scene. It's the monumental scene.
The bruise on your head.
I know how you got that bruise. You fell off your toilet. You hit your head, and that's when you came up with the flux capacitor, the thing that allows for time travel. And
Doc just like slow opens the door.
Well, it takes forever because at first you're just like Marty is even like. I still didn't get
Still doesn't believe me.
And then the doc opens it, right?
Little.
And then he takes him to the car, shows it to him.
This is why I had a problem with you saying him hiding it. They're like pull like 2 branches off of it.
But when they get there, he's like,
I did it. Well, I invented something that works.
Well, at first though, Marty is like, yeah, it's in a car. I think the
starter doesn't work.
Broken. Now again, we know. Battery's just
dead. The battery's
Marty
dead.
just doesn't understand electric
whatever
cars.
Weird Tesla battery it has doesn't work.
But so then he's like, yeah, and so then you said you invented this thing, and Marty points at the flux capacitor, and it's the first time you really see like the weird like flowiness in it. Yeah, and literally, I think this is insane. What did the doc think he invented? The doc pulls out what he invented.
Yeah, he's like, when I fell, I drew this, and it's just a picture of the flux capacitor.
You're telling me.
There was some math on it, I guess.
He drew a schematic. And then it took him 30 years to be like,
now what is this made of?
Now this is what it did. He didn't
That's what that weird thing is.
You're telling me he didn't know he didn't know it was going to do time travel. He just
when he busted his head.
He drew a device and said, this is the device.
It knocked that particular wire loose in his brain, so it took 30 years to fix.
But at this point, he's officially on board. He's like, okay, I get it. You're right.
Yep, we got to go back to his house. Future.
Yeah, they go back to his house. They start trying to formulate a plan on how they can try to get him back. Because the doc does point out, every moment you're here is a potential hazard to everybody.
Yeah, he shows him the part of the tape, like up until he like gets shot at, I think.
But the doc is trying. The reason Marty shows him the tape is because the doc says, like, things that you do here.
Yeah, it could affect what happens in the future.
And so we need to fix that.
Yeah.
And so he shows him the tape, to try to help jog his memory.
Yeah.
Or not jog his memory, sorry, because this is.
Yeah, there's science information on the tape that Marty probably doesn't know.
Yeah, he's trying to help. He's like, hopefully this can help you understand how to make that thing work.
Because
And
then
so-
he freaks out when the videotape doc says 1.21 gigawatts. He's
He
just
stops it.
1.21 gigawatts. Flips the fuck out. He's like, I have nothing that will generate that kind of power. The only thing that could generate that is a bolt of lightning. And there's no way to predict that.
Wait a minute, Doc.
I know. I have the perfect fucking thing.
I love the way he said it, though. He's just like, wait a minute.
But I do know when there's
What
going to
if
be
we
lightning.
do?
Perfect. Yay.
What do you mean?
See that foreshadowing from earlier?
He's like, what do you mean? Well,
Yep.
I have this.
At exactly, what was it, like 10:04?
Yeah, whatever time it is.
Lightning's gonna hit the clock tower.
1 week. They have 1 week.
In
That's,
1
That's
week.
the key, right? Like they have 1 week. They have 7 days. At that point, you're like, okay, I want you to really think about this. So in 7 days, 1955, Doc Brown. So think about the technology he's dealing with, has to now understand electric cars, nuclear reactors, and a completely fictitious time travel science in 7 days. Okay.
Yeah, I'm
All while helping his young friend
his
parents,
young ward boy.
keeping his parents from falling in love with the wrong person, i.e., him,
Himself.
in a weird Oedipus problem. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, Marty at first he's just like, cool, sweet, I'll hang out here for a week. We'll get this figured out and we'll fucking go. But then he's like, tells him about him fucking up his parents.
As soon as he
and
says
shit.
that, that's when the doc stops to think about it. And he's like, okay, but wait a
Who
minute.
have you come in contact besides
He's
me?
like, a week is good because I can keep you here. And he stopped and he's like, he realized, like, wait a minute, though. Did you come straight
here? Or who else? If he's like, yeah, kind of.
I ran into my parents.
Shit.
And that's
this
let
is
me
where
see
it
the
dawns
picture.
on him.
Let me see the picture again. Show me the fucking picture
Now,
again.
like, the whole, top part of his brother's head
Like,
is gone.
the look on Marty's face as he's getting it, too. He's like, why do you want to see the fucking picture?
For?
Yeah, and then he's just like, whoa, Doc, what do you mean? Well, that future is ceasing to exist.
Because you stopped your parents from meeting, you're not ever going to be born. We have to fucking fix this.
Some butterfly effect shit, right?
Yeah.
Like, you make the wrong change, all kinds of fucking shit goes wrong.
Yep, time paradox.
But this isn't even like
bullshit.
butterfly. This is like direct. This is no shit. You should never have done it type shit.
You fucked yourself. Completely out of existence,
Right.
brother.
And so Doc is like, okay, well, then you need to fix this. You need to make sure that you get them back together.
Yep, so Marty's got to go to school.
I love that Doc goes with him.
Yeah, just hangs out. This old dude just hanging out at the school.
I can't remember for sure, but I kind of feel like there was a deleted scene that explains this. And it's that the Doc is going because he needed a parent to enroll him in school. So the Doc is his parent in 1955. Again, makes total sense, but the movie does not actually address this. You just see the Doc
they're just kind of hanging out at the school
and nobody
with him.
questions.
Nobody says nothing.
Well, again, like we said, this is a small town. Nobody's questioning the dude nobody knows with the old guy that's a weirdo in town.
The weird inventor guy is with the young boy Ward.
Right? Nobody's questioning it.
It's Batman.
It is a little bit. A little bit. If only he was making cool stuff.
gadgets that actually worked.
Yeah, so at this point though, we get one of my favorite jokes in the movie. Marty has said heavy 100 times.
Why do you keep saying heavy? Is there something wrong with the Earth's gravitational pull in the future?
That is one of my favorite jokes ever. I absolutely love
Yeah,
it.
it's great. But then they see George, this poor bastard, he has the kick me sign on him and everybody's kicking him.
Again, with the laugh.
Yeah, he's
acting
just like,
it's
oh,
friends.
You guys, there's some good-natured ribbing.
Doc starts making fun of George. Did you hear? Like, Doc is
It's
literally
a
like,
wonder you were ever born.
this guy?
This guy.
This is the guy?
That's your dad? Jesus.
Really? What'd your mom ever see in him? I was like, damn, Doc.
Yeah,
just
relax,
like,
man.
Again,
Jesus.
like, remember, if this was 1985, Doc, I'd be fine. They're best friends. Best friends. Again,
Yeah,
he didn't know
we
where his house
technically
was.
just met.
But these two don't fucking know each other.
Right?
You don't make those kind of jokes. That
Talk
was
about my
that
dad
was
like
crazy.
that, asshole.
I was crazy. Although, in all fairness, Marty kind of made him back.
Yeah, he did.
He was like, yeah, I don't know either.
Yeah, it's like I'm surprised as you are, man.
Then then all of a sudden, that's when Marty admits what exactly happened. He says, like, yeah, I got hit by a car and it was supposed to be my dad. Oh, Florence Nightingale effect.
So my mom has the hots for me?
Is that what you're saying?
Is that what you're trying to tell
Dude,
me right
the
now?
look on Doc's face of like worry for Marty
It's
in
like,
that moment where he was like, yes.
Yeah. Enjoy the therapy, buddy.
We definitely need to fix that.
We definitely need to fix this.
And this was so good. He's like, we need to get them together somehow. Is there some kind of event we can take them to? And Marty goes, oh, yeah. The Enchantment of the Sea dance.
Ah, a rhythmic social gathering.
I love it. Why are they trying so hard to make him socially awkward?
I don't know.
Like
I'm forever now call anything I go to a rhythmic social gathering.
The rest of the Doc Brown that we get every other part, like not even the rest of the franchise, like the rest of even like this movie and the rest of the franchise is not this socially awkward and saying weird. You go ahead. I'm good, dude. Yeah, it was not nearly as socially awkward as this guy. The guy that says
rhythmic social gathering.
I fucking love
That's your
it.
next party or dance.
Man.
That's on the invitation. Come join our rhythmic social gathering.
Oh man, I love it. Yeah, so we all know it's the enchantment at the sea, the enchantment under the sea. So
yeah,
fish under the sea. Yeah, fish under the sea. Dance. And so again, he knows now. Oh, I know how I can set it right.
Yep.
Right, like I can fix this. I can fix this.
I just got to get them to talk to each other, right?
God damn, if it's not weird when he just pops into fucking George at lunch.
Yep. Hey man, you know
like
that
they're friends.
You know the other day I saved you. If that girl over there is pretty hot, you should go talk to her.
George
go for it.
So even for a dude we've seen laugh off the people making fun of him, this is even more uncomfortable to me that George is just like okay with this like weird complete stranger that just keeps showing
just
up,
buddying up to him and shit.
But so he's just like, you mean Lorraine? Lorraine Banks. This is where you get the name.
Yep.
He just says like Lorraine Banks. He's like, yeah, Lorraine.
Yeah, you should
look at her. She's pretty good looking, right?
Yeah, you should totally ask her to that dance.
I think she wants to take somebody else.
Who?
And he points, and it's Biff.
No,
what about this scene?
I don't know.
What about this scene would make you think she
is?
Why would George say that?
Hassling
it's
her.
Sexual assault.
Yeah,
it is literally already sexual assault. It's not, like, I mean, it's not the SA, but it is sexual assault.
Yeah,
I mean,
he's fucking all over her. She slaps the shit out of him. And get your goddamn hands off me.
Why would George?
She likes him.
Why is that his thought? Why is that what he's saying?
Because it's the 50s, I guess.
Well, and it's the 80s.
And the 80s.
Remember, this movie was still saying that's okay. Like nothing.
Men sucked up until about 1995.
Like the movie.
Even then,
the movie itself never makes a point to be like, this is definitely that.
Not something you should be doing,
right? Like it literally everything is just like about. It's more that there is a hero. It's not addressing how bad. It's just like, no, this is so we can have the hero.
Yeah,
moment.
so Marty can step in and be like, leave her alone.
So you get what I'm saying? Like the 50s and the 80s.
Yeah.
Questionable times, guys. Questionable
times.
I
get it. He's the bad guy, but he doesn't have to fucking go
well,
grabbing
and George
titties
doesn't have to
and
think
like
it's
that.
okay.
Yeah. Oh, she likes him. That's the guy that she wants to go with, the clear rapist over here.
Marty, though, couldn't take it. Marty's like, that's my fucking mom.
That's my god. Yeah, exactly.
And so what does he do? He fucking runs up on
He gets right up in Biff's face.
And then he gets close enough where he's like,
realizes
how I fucking forgot how tall you are. And
he was still gonna take that ass whipping though.
Well, and right now you're young enough.
Yeah,
like he's
you're
like,
still, you're fit now. You're not a broken down old
man.
man.
He was half thinking about the Biff he knows, where he's like, oh, you're fucking 45.
I can probably take you.
Right now he's like, oh shit, you're
18-year-old Biff's gonna kick my ass.
Now we're on even footing, and you're definitely gonna.
Marty was gonna take the ass whipping though. He was gonna go.
He was ready. The fucking gang was ready too.
Right.
Strickland doing the only thing in this movie that makes him okay.
Yep.
Showing up.
Saved him from that
and not even really being that good of a guy. Literally just showing up to make Biff, like Biff is scared. Strickland himself wasn't like super great to where he was like, don't pick on that guy. He literally was just kind of like.
Got a problem here? Again, something happening?
Strickland would have been a hard ass on it wouldn't have been just Biff. Marty to gotten shit.
He'd have took George, even though George
Oh
was
yeah,
just
it was still
there.
sitting at the table. Exactly. He'd have been like, I saw Marty. I saw Calvin.
Calvin talking to you, so you're just as in trouble as everybody else.
So yeah, like that's how that would have went. Fucking Strickland, dude. Fucking hate that guy. At this point, fucking Marty's not even realizing how bad he's fucking up, though.
Yeah,
right?
Because as soon as he leaves and stuff, Lorraine is just like,
he's the White Knight.
Yeah, dude.
He's the shining. He's the knight in shining armor.
The worst thing you could have done was to jump in right there, because now. Not only Lorraine, I'm sure lots of other girls in this school have taken notice of you. Oh, yeah, because
everybody has to hate Biff and his gang.
Oh, fuck yeah.
So they're all like...
Anybody that'll stand up to Biff, they're just like...
Again, Marty is so stupid.
He is.
What the fuck is his problem, dude?
You should have just, pissed your pants when fucking Biff stood up, right? That would have made you look like such a bitch that Lorraine would have been like, oh, well, he's a pussy.
As soon as though everything breaks up, Marty, it's literally just like the diner, right?
Yeah,
he turns around, looks for George.
Dad.
God damn it. He's gone
again. What up, Dad? Daddy-o. J.U. on the bike.
I love it, dude. I love it. So he talks to him. He's like, look, man, I'm telling you, you need to listen to me. You need to ask her out.
She is into you, bro.
And then he says, well, I don't think she's even into me. I'm pretty sure she's into you. And he's like, listen to me. You have to do it, or it's going to be... This was so funny to me. Did you hear exactly what he said? It's not the biggest regret of your life. Marty says, if you don't ask her out, it's the biggest regret of my life. You have to do this.
Fucking George is like, look, there's no one on this planet that'll get me to do this, okay?
And then that's when...
So, leave me the fuck alone.
Well, and then he says, look, anyway, I've got plans tonight, because Marty was wanting him to try to do something that night. He's like, look,
my favorite show's on science fiction theater. I almost said mystery science theater.
It was the dance. He wasn't going to go to the dance because I'm not going to miss science fiction theater. And Marty has light bulb moment. Oh, you like science fiction? Well, we get two things. Marty makes the revelation, you write?
Oh, yeah, because he's at the table writing his shit, and he won't let anybody read it, because what if it's not good?
But also...
It comes back at the end of the movie.
But yeah, he's also the science stuff. He's like, oh, you like this? You like
sci-fi, and nobody on this planet will convince you? And so I have an idea.
I think I got this.
I love this shit. Slips the headphones over his head, pops in the Van Halen tape. I am Darth Vader. From the planet Vulcan.
I want to stop now to pause you. So we know in the future he's a famous science fiction writer.
Yep.
Is this movie insinuating that maybe because of Marty,
we have Star Trek and Star Wars?
In their timeline, George McFly is the creator of Star Trek and Star Wars?
George Roddenberry. George Lucas, Gene Roddenberry. Smash them together. We got George McFly.
And then Lucas. George Lucas. He doesn't have to... It's there.
It all comes together.
All right there.
It is. It's true. George McFly actually came up with it.
Now, I want to point out, though, this is so funny, because you can say Vulcan without having to give credit to Roddenberry, because that is a planet... A real place. It's a real star. You can get away with that.
40K does it too. They have our own Vulcan.
Now, though, Darth Vader.
Yeah, that one.
Now, that only gets to be said in this movie because of that Spielberg connection, right?
Yeah.
Nobody had to pay money for that.
Oh, really?
Well, I don't know for sure.
Lucas didn't get a cut.
Well, no, I'm saying, think about it. They're friends, Spielberg and Lucas. I'm telling you right now, Spielberg was like, look, I want a funny joke.
Can I do it,
Give
George?
me a funny joke. I don't know for sure, but I'm telling you right now that's more likely what happened than Spielberg and Zemeckis were talking and were like, well, we'll pay him whatever. I promise you it was a lot more like Zemeckis was like, I want to do a joke here. And
George
Spielberg was like, give me a second. Let me make a call.
I'm going to go call him. He's not going to care.
It might not even originally been Darth Vader, right? Like it could have been any, because again, he doesn't specifically look like Darth Vader.
Pick a different sci-fi fucking franchise.
I'm sure you could think of one in a yellow suit. If we really looked, we could find something.
Yeah, probably.
In the 30 years from 19, you get what I'm saying? Like, it literally was this because Spielberg and Lucas are friends.
I am Buckaroo Bonanza.
a Buckaroo Banzai, but that's a different movie. That's actually an 80s movie. Buckaroo Banzai and the... So we have to do that one. Have you never seen that?
No, I'm
It's
not.
a cult classic.
I
It's
thought
good.
I was just making up a name.
Buckaroo Banzai.
Oh, cool.
It's a cult classic. It's got lots of famous people. Yeah,
I've not seen that one.
Well, we'll find a way.
We'll add it to the list.
But yeah, so he could have went with anybody. I'm pretty sure though that the Vader was 100% friendship deal, right? Like they made a backroom deal to get that one. But it, like you said, it's great with the music, fucking scaring the shit out of him. I'm gonna melt your brain
if you don't ask out that girl.
I love the next morning.
Yeah, he's full on board next morning.
Not only full on board,
chases down Marty.
Motherfucker hasn't slept or showered or
anything.
Like his clothes are
like hanging out and shit.
He's scared.
Hair's all fucked up.
He is scared for his
fucking alien
life.
Just showed up in my room and blasted these horrible noises at me.
He even said it. He even said, "This guy Darth Vader. We might need to keep that.
Yeah, I might keep that to ourselves.
Don't need to tell people that one, please, please, please." And he's like, "Okay, but I'm on board. You're right."
Yep.
Like Darth Vader said the same thing. Help me ask this girl out.
All right, so like, all right, well, she's in the diner right now, man. Just go in there and ask her out.
Okay.
All right. What do I say?
Well, he even before he says that, he starts like he's gonna. He stands there. He does the like trip. This is why I love Crispin Glover. Like he does this weird like triple like wall. He does it a lot as George. Like the triple movement thing where he like almost moves but stops himself.
Yeah,
I love it, dude. And he does it right now where he's like, "I'm gonna walk."
No. What do I say? I don't even know what to do. He's just like, look, go in there and tell her like we're destined to be together.
You
You're the
are
most
my
beautiful
destiny.
thing
Most
ever.
Girls love that type of thing.
He's in there taking
Well,
notes.
and
he's like, this is good shit, man.
And he throws in he's doing all of it. He's like, do you got all of it? And George is just like, I think I do. I think I'm ready.
Yeah.
They go in the door, and it's funny because he still has the paper.
It's in his hand.
And so that means that we know he is actually like, think about this. He is actually about to be reading what he wrote. This motherfucker needs to work on his shorthand.
Yeah.
Because he wrote down things wrong. It's not like he remembered it wrong. He wrote it down.
Are my density. I mean, my destiny.
Well, he doesn't even fix himself until like the third time he said density. He said it so many times. And then finally he's like, oh, destiny.
That's right. That's what it is.
Oh my God.
And she's just like, oh, I know you. You're friends with Calvin. That's right. And then Biff walks in and interrupts the whole fucking thing.
Entrances, dude.
God damn it.
And then goddamn Marty.
Again.
White knighting.
Yeah, because he could have just let him go after George and sat there. Now he's got to trip him and fucking get involved.
Stupid
punches him in the fucking face.
The trip isn't even that bad. Like the trip would have been one thing, right?
Yeah.
But the punch was where it's like, yeah, but now you're the hero, right? Like the trip looks like maybe you just helped your friend.
Yeah.
The punch makes you the hero.
It's like, now you're the hero of the story.
Yeah. God damn it, Marty. Stop it.
But we get the very first skateboard chase scene from Biff that they just love to replay after this.
He runs outside, breaks the fucking thing.
Hey, kid, let me borrow your board. Just rips the thing off. Hey, you broke it.
Where the fuck are the sparks coming from?
Did the kid put nails in the bottom of the board?
On his thing, it wouldn't have made sense. It would never have tipped backwards.
Yeah, it never would have tipped back because it had the like apple crate on it.
Where are the sparks?
Rule of cool, just cause.
I know, I get it, but like literally the people even say like, because they're like,
the board was made from an old piece of wood. There's just a screw hanging out of it.
But remember, like the people even like someone says like, what is that?
What is
someone
he
even
writing
says
on?
it's just a board with wheels.
So if you look, none of the wheels are the same. It's got like 4 different fucking wheels on it. But we drive, and it's the big chase.
We get everything. We get Skitchin.
Biff and his boys, they're in their car.
Give me a second. Went wrong one.
Went down the wrong way.
But yeah, you're right.
Biff and his brother like chucking, smashing beer bottles at him
full
and shit.
skitching around town too. Like Marty's like hopping car to car while he's trying to get away from him. Biff and his gang ride through the courtyard in town.
Yes.
They drive on the sidewalk in front of the fucking courthouse.
Like, where's the cops? Is there no police in this fucking town?
Why is Biff allowed to be anywhere?
That car-
Everyone in town
they should have been
knows him. It was
arrested.
a convertible.
Yeah, they should have been arrested. Cars impounded.
Well, he certainly shouldn't have been a problem at any point after this in the movie.
He should definitely. You're not going to no dance.
I was gonna say,
you're
fuck,
in jail.
Yeah, I gotta say, fuck everybody in this town, right?
Like,
God damn.
it's just Biff and his boys being hoodlums.
Once we finish, though, he circles around until he finally gets to where he's in front, and they're about to. They're
gonna smash him.
They are gonna drive right through him.
Right, they're gonna kill him. They're gonna smash him into the shit.
He jumps out of the way. Last second,
smashes into the manure truck.
Man,
I like Goldie. Goldie coming up there to help and stuff. Gets to the truck. He's like, "Whoo, damn!"
You just see him. He wipes it out of his face,
right,
and then does the
I'm gonna
spit.
Get that punk.
My favorite part is always the spit.
It's
The
always-
first one, he wipes, and you just see the mouthful. Why is his mouth open?
Every movie it gets worse too. By the third movie, he's
it's
just got
awful.
Just a huge mouthful of, and it's wet.
Yeah.
Can't wait to do the third one.
No,
I love the
third one has my favorite line too about it.
Manure. I hate manure.
Yeah, I can't wait. I'm glad you said that.
Yeah,
I'm glad that's both of our favorite lines. It's good. It's funny. I don't know why. But yeah, this is definitely the beginning. This is where
it all started.
Technically, the third one is the beginning.
It's chronologically, but
this is where we all heard it. Or we didn't even hear it. We didn't get the newer line. We just got to see it, and know that he hates it.
This whole thing has
wiping
amassed
it out of his face.
Quite the crowd, and Lorraine is just she needs new panties, dude. They're soaked. She's just so turned on right now.
Not only was he like so badass and saved all of this shit, and did this cool skateboarding, whatever. When it's all said and done, he even takes the skateboard
and gives it back.
Kneels down.
Yes,
dude.
and gives it back to the.
Kneels.
Oh, he's nice to kids. I can't stand it.
Marty's too much,
right?
Man. You're just like,
it's his own goddamn fault. His mom is so into him. There ain't a girl in his town that doesn't want to fuck Marty now.
How did you think that was going to be?
The old lady that's running the diner right now is just like, I'd suck his dick.
Man, I'm telling you. Again, Marty just needs to stop, dude.
He really does. Just go hide, man. Just stop it. You're making it worse. Poor George. He's just like, just leaves. He's just like, I can't compete with that.
Again, when you see that look, again, like you said, Lorraine's got straight fuck me eyes going on.
She does.
Like,
God
it's just bad. Marty, he needs to tell at this point.
He goes back to Doc's.
Well, he goes back to Doc's. This is when this is that emotional. This is where, like, despite how much we want to make fun of their friendship and be like, maybe Marty's not a good friend. This is when you can tell that they are really close, right? Like, Doc is watching the footage just at the end.
Yeah, where it gets to the, I don't know how they found me, but they found me. Run for it.
Rewind.
Run for it, Marty.
Yes. So
I gotta do the hand wave each time.
You can see the worry that Doc has
like
about what was going on.
Because it cuts right after that, so he's like, well, something bad happened.
He doesn't ask Marty.
No, and
Marty
does want to tell him. He's like,
well, he starts to.
No,
Doc stops.
I don't need that.
Well, this is the first time where we get the fact that Doc understands that you can't do this either direction, right?
Yeah.
Like, Marty, you're gonna fuck up the future, which is your present, if you fuck up now.
Yeah.
And I can't have you telling me that
in the past that'll fuck up my future after that.
You're gonna fuck up all kinds
Maybe
of stuff.
me dying is the best thing that happens to the world. You don't know.
Well, he doesn't even know that's what it is.
Yeah, right.
Maybe if he knew that, it'd be different.
Yeah.
After he tells Marty that he cannot know too much about his own destiny, he is then like, but I do think I have solved.
I have a plan.
Our problem.
And a sweet model.
I love that he's
I fucking love this thing.
He's like, excuse
the crudeness of it.
It's not painted.
That's it. Other than that, it is a perfect mock-up of town.
Well, did you notice that a few of them, though, were actual condiment bottles? There were ketchup
like
and mustard
ketchup
bottles
and
that were
bottle,
like painted and stuff. Other than that, everything was exactly buildings. I will give it.
It was awesome.
It was cool.
Wish I could build things. I'd do shit like that.
Well, he's sciencey and artsy, this guy. He knows how to use both.
Yeah, he knows how to use both sides. I can only use the one.
I will give him credit for that. This model was so cool. We all know this scene. This is just one
with
of the
the
funnest
little
things
model
ever.
car.
They
He
crank
cranks
it up. He's even got like real power.
Yeah, hooks the battery to it. And
yeah, dude, that's so good.
Slides, starts the fire off in the corner. That has
Marty,
that great face. The
well, and Marty, that was a total Christopher Lloyd. That's
Yeah, it
another one of
was.
those like I don't care who you are. Christopher Lloyd came out, not Doc Brown. When you see the
that weird face he does.
Marty though is like I don't know.
I don't have a lot of confidence in this
don't know if I
plan,
trust you,
Doc.
but I want to say right now, everything about that model was good. That was a freak accident. You can't be mad at somebody about freak accidents.
The little toys, plastic and shit, and of course the shock is going to light it on fire.
He didn't know where it was going to go to once it hit the floor. It's not like he ran it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, he just knew.
I didn't intend for it to hit the oily rag bucket.
Accident. You can't blame. His science wasn't bad. His model wasn't bad.
His safety issue.
Yes.
Your safety standards are not up to par, sir.
And I think Marty knew that
is
already.
This is an OSHA violation waiting to happen.
The man made a nuclear reactor for a time machine. I think Marty already knew that.
In his garage.
Yeah, so Marty shouldn't be surprised that the man's safety isn't on the highest.
We take some shortcuts here to get shit done. Like as soon as he puts the little fire out,
who shows up?
Fucking Lorraine shows up,
fucking stalker style,
chasing her boy down.
She literally
I thought she didn't chase boys like this.
She literally even said it. I followed you here because Marty's like, how did you even know where I was?
I followed you. It wasn't,
stalker.
Because like I want to go to the dance with you.
No, no. This was wild. No, she didn't say, I want to go to the dance with you. She said, I wanted to ask if you wanted to ask me to the dance.
Didn't George ask you already?
That's such a wild statement. I wanted to ask you if you wanted to ask me.
If it's that line of logic, that therefore means that she did not ask him.
I understand. I get it.
So she is still a prim and proper lady.
It makes future Lorraine not have lied when she said she didn't ask a guy out.
She just asked the guy if he was going to ask her out. And I'm totally okay if you do that.
Yeah. But so you're right, though. He does ask, what about George? This was so funny because she literally was even like, oh, I guess that counts. But I mean, he's cute, George.
But he's just George. He's not like a big, strong, hunking man like you.
The looks.
Cue the drool.
Dude, the looks that Doc started giving Marty from this point, he literally had to walk away. He was like, this bitch is going to see me side-eyeing him. I need to get behind her.
He is. He's just like, oh, shit.
He's just looking at Marty like, what the fuck did you do, man?
It's like, dude, if that wasn't your mom, I would say go for it.
She's primed
she is
and ready.
All over you.
And then he watches as Marty says yes, like accidentally, kind of dumb,
just kind of stumbles into it. And like, okay,
Doc is just like, dude, man, what are we doing?
Like, what the fuck is happening right now?
He's like, trust me,
you're gonna date your mom.
He says, trust me, I think I can still try to make this work. And then we cut to him and George. This was so George immediately being like, but how?
Like, how are you? If you're taking her, how am I going to take her?
Then we hear that Marty's plan is that he's going to fake S.A. his mom.
Yeah. He's going to get a little handsy with his mother. Again, therapy.
I know at this point.
So much therapy.
I know at this point he just had to kind of do whatever he needed to do.
I mean, like, he's trying to bite that fucking bullet and just get it done, or I'm not going home.
But that's wild.
I still couldn't do it.
That's wild.
I mean, he can't do it. Later when he shows up, he's just like, when you're supposed to do something, but you can't.
Yeah, I'm telling you right now. So, but this is great though. This is when we start to see. I feel like two things happen right here. Like, we see that George is like he's on board. He's like, okay, whatever the plan is,
I'll show up and I'll
do
punch you in the gut. It's
well,
fine.
Well, and we see he's practicing the speech, right, and all
like
that
this.
stuff.
He's just like, get your damn hands. Should I swear? Do you think I should
yes,
swear?
God damn it, George, you need to swear. But also what you can notice is I feel like since he already had the moment in the diner, you can see the he's already not doing as much of the twitchiness.
He's already a little calmer, and
I feel like the confidence is like Marty's already made
had a
little
good
bit
effect
of change.
on him.
Yeah.
I
it's
can see
a
that
subtle thing
because he's not as
he's not
twitchy
and he's
shit.
more. He seems more he actually
more
realizes
willing to actually try and do shit
and
too.
he realizes like what people are doing. Like, it seems like he's already
Yeah.
starting to clock, like, oh, that guy's an asshole to me. Right? Like, it's not
He's
like...
not my friend. Those wedgies were mean.
Yeah, I feel like you can totally see, like, there's a whole lot of, like, layers of this starting to, like, George is definitely changing.
This is late at night. George is just staring at the ceiling and be like, they hate me. They all hate me.
If you put your mind to it,
If you put your mind to it, you
accomplish
can kill
anything.
everyone.
This was...
That's dark. I'm sorry.
Well, it was funny to me that Marty actually says that to George.
It
Like, if you put your mind to it, you can accomplish anything. And I was like, I feel so weird about this because I feel like the George we saw in the beginning of the movie never said that to young kid Marty.
Nope, not ever.
Right? Marty's being a better dad to his dad
than he
his
was
dad
to him. I'm a better dad than you ever, Dad.
Oh. He goes back. He sees Doc, right? He's going back and he's like, Doc, I think I might have it. Things are going good.
Here's
I've got
plan.
We got a plan. It seems great. Dad seems like he's really...
Yeah, he's on board.
And then Doc's like, that's awesome. You know, I've really been thinking. It's so wild. I can't wait to talk to you about this.
In 30
years.
years.
It's going to take 30 years to get there. But, you know, like, it's for you, it's going to be immediate. And it's going to be like the conversation
this is
we can have.
when they've pulled up to the clock tower and are getting ready to set up.
The emotion, right?
Yep.
Like,
Marty's just like,
but Doc, you don't know.
I got to tell you. I got to tell you, Doc.
He shoots him down again.
Nope, don't tell me.
I don't want to fucking
I don't want to know. I don't want to know. I'm going to sit here. I'm going to set up the wires and shit.
You need to just...
You go to the dance.
That's what needs to happen.
But
Marty takes a detour to the diner. He writes this very heartfelt letter. We hear it. He's like, Doc, you got to know. You can't do this on the day. People are going to come. You can't be there. But the problem is, if you think about it, this is totally one of those, like, why you can't go back to kill Hitler things, right? Like, you can't tell Doc not to be there.
Otherwise,
you won't be here.
Yeah, it's wibbly wobbly, timey wimey.
Yeah. And so it's totally like one of those things where it's like, Doc is technically right. You shouldn't be. You are.
Yeah, you really should not be doing this.
Right
now. He slips the letter into his pocket while the cop shows up. It's like, hey, you're running some kind of new experiment or something? Yeah, weather experiment.
It's the 2. It's the stuff that happens in 2. It's when Doc shows up in 2. Doc shows up right after that to be like, oh, you said a weather experiment.
Yeah.
Huh? I think I've done one just like this before. It's literally it butts into the same thing. Like, we know
the cop walked away. Other
Doc
walks in.
Exactly. But yeah, the other thing that I noticed about this time watching the movie that I never noticed before, the cop's like, you got a permit for this? Did you notice what happens? Doc says, oh yeah, of course I do. And he pulls out his wallet.
So does he actually have a permit for this?
No, he paid that cop off.
Oh, and he paid him off? Okay.
Well, think about it. There's no way he had a permit. We know that. There's absolutely no way in the last 4 days.
He just ran down to City Hall real quick. I need a weather experiment permit, real quick.
He's already the crazy guy in town. That is still...
Even if they let him do it, that's like paperwork. They got to send that off. He's got to wait a month.
So again, like I said, we know there's no way he did. And then for him to pull out his wallet...
I didn't catch that.
Yeah.
Because it's in the background of the scene because Marty's slipping the letter into his pocket while that's happening.
This guy definitely got paid off by Doc.
$50 in the 50s, man. I mean, that's a lot.
I'm just saying it was a little out of character. I didn't expect Doc to do something like that.
I mean, he worked with the Libyans. He's obviously willing to fucking do some crooked shit.
Maybe I thought better of 50s Doc.
50s Doc. 50s Doc wasn't that corrupt yet. It started. This is where it started with him bribing that cop. It led from cop to Libyans.
At this point, though, Marty is like, all right, I do need to go. I need to get towards, I got to
go to the dance and pick up Lorraine, do all this shit.
We don't get it. I love how quick this is. We're just going to see Lorraine and him in the car. And she's just like, we don't got to go in yet.
You mind if we park for a minute? Oh, fuck, that's a great idea. I love parking.
I've parked before. You didn't think I'd ever park before?
What the fuck?
She pulls out the flask. Oh, no, it's just straight booze.
It's just a bottle of fucking whiskey, dude.
Whiskey. She's like,
Jesus, you drink too?
What? Everybody drinks, Marty.
You shouldn't drink.
Shoves it in his face.
For you.
Shoves it in his face. And he's like, fine. Throws it back.
Lights the cigarette.
Well, have you ever seen the deleted scene from this?
Mm-mm.
This is not, not deleted. It's an outtake.
I've never seen it.
for one scene when they did that, all of the people working on set actually put whiskey
Actual
in it.
whiskey in the
And again, Michael J. Fox was underage at the time.
and if
So
you're not,
it might be.
and if you're not ready for it,
dude, you should YouTube that
I have
clip.
to look
It's
for that.
funny
That's pretty
because literally,
funny.
like he throws. It's just like that.
Yeah,
scene, so he
you-
throws it back, and then literally
you ain't
see him,
ready?
he's like,
yeah, because you're not ready for it.
and he just starts fucking laughing. He's just like, "What are you guys doing?" Well, especially for all we know, that was his first time
Drinking ever. Yeah.
It might be they might have caught it on camera. His first time
His
ever
first
having liquor
drink.
hitting his mouth.
Aw, a
Yeah.
cute little Michael.
But yeah, you should look it up. It's worth the watch.
Yeah, I'm gonna
I'm
look
telling
that
you
one
right
up. Everybody else go look it up too if you haven't seen
now.
it.
Yeah. So at this point though, they're about to start the plan, right?
Yeah.
Like he's about to get. He's trying to get up the nerve to get handsy
To
with
even
his mom.
try it. He's like, I have to touch my mom's boobs.
And then she says,
Uh,
"Someone's coming up to the car." And so at first you see him. He's like,
it's like, oh
relieved.
fuck, thank
Yeah,
God,
George showed up.
George showed
before
up
I had
early.
to. Yeah. No.
it's Biff.
Fucking Biff.
And,
And the gang.
the
whole
gang.
bunch of
They
them, dude.
beat up fucking Marty and shit, and Biff just hops in the fucking car. Like, take him
Again-
around back. I'll be done in a minute.
Sexual assault again. you know?
Yes.
This one was
Full
straight
on,
up.
dude.
This
Like,
was
that's the
this is
plan.
full. This is full letters only SA.
Yeah.
Sexual, right. I mean, this was bad. Why is this?
His boys were just gonna stand there and watch too.
This man should be arrested.
Yeah, they all should.
Where are the
Every
police?
goddamn one of them.
Someone should be
wood
calling-
chipper. Wood chipper for all of them.
Someone should be calling them right now.
Where's that cop?
Yeah,
It's like the only cop in town I
it's
know of.
Wild, but yeah. Then they go and take him and throw him in the trunk of the fucking band's car.
Fucking y'all get out. What the hell are you doing in my car?
The one dude in the one dude in the gang. That's for fucking up my hand. I was like, you think you fucked up his hand? Wait till this guy fucks up his hand. Like your
Right?
hand's fine.
Your hand's fine.
I love it. I don't want to mess with no ganja smokers.
I ain't messing no reefer addicts or whatever.
I love it, dude. They're
Yo,
like
run on home back to your mama, boy.
so good. Then they're like,
All right,
"You-
man.
someone trapped in there?
Yeah,
Someone
give
the
me your
Get this
keys.
boy out of here. She's
They're
"Give
in
her-"
here.
What?
The keys. They're in here.
Oh
Why?
no, that's a problem.
Who puts their keys in the trunk?
That's what I thought too. Well, it fell out while they were getting equipment.
Ah,
They
yeah.
are banned.
There you go. I keep mine on my belt. It happens.
This is of course Marvin
Marvin
Berry.
Marvin Berry.
I can't say his name without doing the full thing. It's just like
It's your
James
cousin
Bond.
Marvin. Marvin
Berry.
Berry.
Dude, it's just like James Bond, right? Like you got Bond James Bond. So I said it wrong because of Marvin Berry.
Amber used to work with a guy at McDonald's. His name was David Davidson. And I could not ever just call
say
him
it.
David. I had to call him David Davidson.
Yeah, so Marty is screwed at this point. He's in the trunk, but George shows up.
Yep.
Right? Because
Because he
George-
thinks the plan's still
He
going.
doesn't know.
He sees the
like-
he sees
like,
the car moving.
looks
He's
like the
like,
plan.
yeah,
It
it's like,
looks like the plan.
we're on, right?
he opens that door. Biff comes out.
He starts the red. He's like, hey, you
He gives
get
the
your
speech. I will give him credit.
oh man.
Well, he's
The instant regret on his face.
and he still finishes it,
Yeah,
but he
off
turns his head as
her.
it. Yeah, he's like,
Shit.
damn.
I am so
hands.
I am
off her."
so fucked right
Dude,
now.
I seriously thought Biff was gonna break his arm.
Oh, dude, you can. You can
It
definitely
looks
break
like
somebody's
it.
arm that way.
Well, I know, and it looks. I mean, dude, it looks painful. It looks like he's about to
Yep.
go.
Nice hammer lock. Get it right back there.
But then, Biff.
He pushed Lorraine. That was his mistake. Because she jumps to his, she tries to help. She jumps on, like, let him go. And he
George was
pushes
done.
him off.
George was done. Balls up that fist.
The meanest goddamn haymaker from down below. Just whop.
I do want to say though,
One of the best punches in film, right? Just whop.
the only reason that is successful is because Biff would have had to have let go.
Yeah.
Dude, the spin that would have, the pivot that was needed
Yep.
to do that while held the way his arm.
Unless he wants to
he
break
would've
his
broke
own arm.
Yes, he would have broke his own arm. For
Which,
sure.
unless you're crazy, most people aren't willing to do.
Look, George is a lot of things. I don't think he's the guy breaking his own arm.
do it. If it came down to it, I'll break my own arm to get at you.
At this point, though, they pop the trunk. Marty gets out.
That poor
he
guy
runs.
slices his
Yeah,
fucking
yeah.
hand open trying to open it.
Marvin
Berry.
But yeah, Marty then he just like he barely.
He's got to get out of there. He's like, whose keys are these? There, and it books it.
because he knows time's on.
Fuck, dude, George is probably right now
He
getting the
gets there,
fuck beat
he
out of
stays
him.
back. He sees it and he's like, Good on
Ah,
him.
hell yeah. He
Daddy
catches
did
him right
good.
as he hits
Yeah,
it.
Daddy did good.
Fuck yeah, Dad.
Then he looks at the picture and he's just like,
That's still fading though. Like,
What?
what the fuck? What am I supposed to do?
how does that make sense?
The band. There's no band. You can't have a. If
If
there's
the-
no band, you can't play.
is
They
the
can't
li-
dance, and they won't kiss.
The line, you're doing it so fast because he says everything twice. If there's no band, they can't dance. They can't dance. They can't kiss. They can't kiss. There's no me.
There's no me. I'm very upset right now.
You know, like it's so funny. Yeah,
And
Marty's just like,
they're like, man, sorry, the dance is over unless you know somebody that can play guitar. Cut to him playing just some
Earth Angel
E
again.
chord, A chord,
Earth Angel,
C chord.
and he does good.
Oh yeah, but it's just
I get
it is not the most fun song to play on guitar. I'm
understand.
sure.
But what is our complaint about the rest of Marty's play style?
I'm surprised he kept it together. I really am. I was expecting him to try and throw a little hammer-ons or something in there.
Well, and he does later. We can go. I mean, we don't even get to spend time here.
They kiss and everything's
no.
all better.
No, first. You
Oh,
can't even-
dude, no.
the redhead.
Shermanator's dad or
Yes.
whatever the fuck
Yeah,
it is.
You can't skip over the ginger who tried to ruin everything.
He looks like fucking dude from American Pie.
Yeah. He tries to ruin everything, and it does. Like it's the second this happens,
More essay because he just grabs her and walks off with her.
Well,
She's like, "No, help me."
no one in the crowd.
Nobody
cares.
stops it.
And we see the wildest like ramp up of loss of like Mike. Like why has
Just
like
complete crushing defeat
apparently
for some
the
reason.
ginger stopping that relationship way worse than them just not being together.
Right?
Apparently,
Because
right?
now
it happened.
Marty is just
rapidly.
like, I'm collapsing.
I'm on the
I
floor.
can't play.
His hand is going through the guitar. It's bad.
I am disappearing. Damn it,
Just as soon as it happens, he looks up. He even
George. Do something.
Lorraine yells it. George, like it's all at the same time.
And then
and George does something.
He's sitting there. He's got like this look of like, oh, I'm so. And then,
the snapback. Dude.
yep.
The snapback.
No. He does all but just like have that like no moment, right?
When Marty snaps back to life, dude.
Swing.
The way that looks is so wild. Like
It cracks me up every time because it's almost like reverse footage of him going down.
I feel like it has to
I think
be.
it is. It's almost like if they just reverse the footage of him going down.
Because it looks so like if they had him stand up, I don't understand how he
It's
did
almost
that.
like stop motion
Yes.
right?
Yes. But again, it's perfect for the scene. Like it really sets up like the
Yeah.
science weirdness is going on here.
You exist now. Just spring back. It's all fine.
They have their kiss. Everything's good.
Pictures back
Perfect.
together.
As soon as this is over,
Yay.
Marvin walks over to Marty and he's like, "Look,
Man, that
you
was
did
pretty
really
good.
You want to do one of your own? You want to
Let's
pick
play
one?"
something that really cooks, man.
And he's like, "I got something." Turns around. He then proceeds to tell these guys stuff that there's no way I feel like the Marty we saw in the beginning knew this music talk.
Yeah, no.
Right?
He should have been playing like Van Halen or something.
Well,
Motley Crue.
I don't care that he played Johnny B. Good. It's the fact that he turned around and was like, "It's a jazz fucking."
Oh yeah,
thing,"
he's
and
not that kind of musician.
That's what I was.
There's
saying,
no
yeah.
like it's like classically trained jargon fucking
Uh,
thrown out here. Blues riff in C, follow me for the changes and try to
Well,
keep
because
up.
what I'll tell you is that in the '80s there was a resurrection of this style of music from the '50s, specifically even this song, because like I've already told you before, there's the movie Johnny B. Good, the stars, Anthony Michael Hall and Robert Downey Jr.
Oh, cool.
And so
I like both of those people.
Johnny B. Good, and it's the theme song to the movie.
I like that song.
So the '80s loved Johnny B. Good.
I used to play in pep band. This was my song that I'd always like, nope, I'm playing it. Get off the drums. It's mine.
So my point was just that the '80s loved it, so it's
Mhm.
not even that wild that Michael J. Fox, Marty went back and loved it too.
That went down the wrong hole.
Yeah, as soon as he gets into it though, Marty does what we knew Marty would do.
He got a solo. Solo got a solo, right?
Well, and he had to hit the power chords,
Of course.
and the dumb
Yeah,
stuff.
wow, wow. Fucking up there, fucking acting like he's
You'd think there was distortion, but there's no fucking
there's
pedal.
nothing. Knocks over the fucking amplifier and shit, and he just finishes off with the
All
big
right.
squealy note.
You guys may not like that.
Your kids are gonna love it. And I'm over here. I'm like,
Maybe
your
if you
solo goes too long and it
Well-
loses structure about halfway
well,
through.
and
It
even-
started off really good.
well in the middle, it just sounds garbage too. Like
Yeah.
he does, like I mean, like
You're
he's
just-
not hitting
You're
actual.
just doing
note. Yeah, yeah.
stuff.
whoever they got to play.
It's not in the
Michael J.
It
Fox.
is not in the flow of the song. Nothing.
Also, can we address during the song we get the funny line, the Marvin Berry, where he calls his cousin Chuck. To hear the song.
Chuck, it's your cousin, Marvin. You're looking for that new sound. Listen to this.
The other funny thing to me about the song is the fact that they don't find a singer that might sound like Michael J. Fox to cover the song. It's literally
it's just the song.
It's just Chuck Berry.
Yeah,
it's literally just Chuck Berry. And you're looking at Michael J. Fox like, that doesn't sound like Michael J. Fox.
When I was a kid, I thought it was. When I was little, I was like, "Hi, I didn't know he could sing."
You're like, Michael J. Fox is
He's really good. He can play guitar too.
As soon as they're done, though, Marty's like, "I need to get outside, guys. Sorry,
I gotta go. I'm
time.
running out of time." Yeah. Runs
Stops, tells his parents. He's like, "Look, guys, good on you. Knew this was gonna happen.
If you have a kid who accidentally sets the living room rug on fire,
take it easy on him. Marty's a pretty good name."
Yep.
And she goes,
"That is a good name.
I like
that name."
And so he makes it outside, gets to the doc. Doc's like, "Look, dude, I've done the math. This alarm clock is set,
and I got you a starting line down there. When it goes off, go.
You just hard floor it. You don't got to worry about nothing else. If you just push it to pedal to the fucking metal,
you're gonna be fine. It's all set up. I just gotta go.
The obscene math. The math that says electricity will go from this thing into the exact spot where this plutonium thing was within an exact second.
We have to hit it in exactly the same point.
At the right time, right speed, right...
yes, all of that has to be so perfect.
It's so insane that he says
no way.
Like, no problem.
Down to the nanosecond.
And again, a nanosecond programmed on an alarm clock.
A dial. It's like a twisty alarm clock even.
Fuck me.
The spring tension is off by 1 micron. It ain't working.
Doc's like, all right, well, you gotta go though. But
so it's been great.
Right before he reaches his hand into his pocket. What the fuck is this?
You'll find out in 30 years, Doc. All right.
No, I won't.
I refuse to accept the responsibility.
And again, Marty was about to tell him, fucking cable snaps.
He's like, the tree falls and plops the cable, and you got
Doc's like, look, dude, you grab this piece. I'm going for that piece.
And we'll tie a rope to it and we'll pull it up. We got to go. We got like 5 minutes.
We can do this real fast.
Yeah.
They draw this out for no reason, right?
Like
this
Doc's
so
like
long.
hanging from the cable.
Oh, the
car doesn't want to start.
The main takeaway here is Marty throws the rope up with the cable.
Yeah.
Doc pulls it up to him. The other part's still too far. He's got to climb across the clock. Marty can't get the car started.
Until he headbutts it.
Yes. But so, all in all, Doc finally plugs it in. He does the kick-ass
zip line down the fucking rope, the cord or whatever the fuck.
Gets down to the bottom just in time to be like, ping.
Just right, perfect timing. Everything, even when everything was going wrong, Doc has perfect timing.
He's looking at Marty like, "Love you, buddy." He doesn't say it, but that's the look you see him. Yeah, he's like,
no. If you pause the footage real quick, you see Marty in the window going.
Yeah. Marty then is just like snaps back. He's back in time. He's gone.
He crashes into a church.
But before we get to Marty, we have to address Doc. Doc running through the street.
Yes,
so excited.
It worked.
I want you to understand though. Does he know it worked? From Doc's point of view, he has to go 30 years.
Yeah, to figure out if it actually worked.
It worked. Right?
The day he meets that young boy.
And he's finally
fuck, it did work. Okay, I didn't just disintegrate him with lightning. Thank God.
Right? Like,
he has no idea. I had so many nightmares, distress dreams. He haunted me.
That's why he's never worked a real job again.
That's because he was so haunted. He's like, I killed him. I killed a kid with lightning. Oh my God. He just disintegrated. There's nothing but tire tracks.
Yeah, you're right. Marty, though, in the future, busts through the fucking the theater. You know, we see it in all the movies. The theater. But not even through like the because the theater has like the one garage door to the side.
No, it's like through the ticket booth.
Yes, I love that they had to make that choice. They're like, no, we don't even want it to go through the part that
dead
would be
center. We're gonna fuck it up real bad.
As soon as he walks out, the drunk on the fucking bench,
crazy drunk drivers.
Jesus,
love that fucking guy. I love Fred. Fred's the best.
Fred. Then Marty's like, he sees the time. He's like, "Fuck,
I got time.
I
can save him. We're gonna go
even
save
though
Doc."
Doc said it was the exact time he left.
He gave himself 10 minutes because he's like, I got a time machine.
But Doc was going straight off of the where you came from. Remember, that's the key feature of that screen. Where you came from, or excuse me, where you been.
Because where you're going and where you're from.
Yeah. And so again, They knew that.
Yep.
Sorry.
He gets in. I think his thing actually might need a new starter or a better battery or something because
no.
it immediately dies again as soon as he gets back into it.
1.21 gigawatts is a lot of electricity, Bo.
There's more than that in a bolt of lightning. It should have had a little extra reserves.
No, Doc said it was exactly. Doc said you couldn't get that unless you had a bolt of lightning. He didn't say you'd have extra.
He calibrated every bolt of lightning ever.
I'm just trying
that one particular bolt I know is only 1.21 gigawatts. Just no more, no less.
It's an on average thing.
Enough.
It's an
the
approximately.
Average,
you know,
the average lightning bolt is 1.21 gigawatts. Got it.
Yeah. So if it's over, it's
hey, if the math works out, I will accept it, man.
But yeah, so
I am a scientist at heart.
You are right. It is crazy though that the car just magically does not work after every time it travels. So he has to like book it.
He runs like on foot.
We see the sign,
Lone Pine
Mall.
He shows up just in time to see the Libyan shoot Doc again.
Well, this is wild too because it's not even like it's twice as sad as having to witness the scene because he has to re-witness himself witness the scene, right? So like it's like the own emotion of his like himself and then like seeing the emotion of him seeing.
No, I love it because he's when he shows up and they shoot Doc, he goes to yell no, but other him yells no at the same time, so he stops like oh well, God damn it.
And then he sees everything go on where they're chasing himself and he slides down the thing and I was like, Marty, you fucking idiot. You left before you know what happens to the Libyans.
Right.
You don't need to be in the parking lot
No.
yet. For all you know, as soon as you left, they circled back
around. Now, there he is and shoot you.
Right? I was like, that's
You went on this whole... Wouldn't that have been a bitch ending? He does this whole big fucking adventure, comes back, drops down the hill. The Libyans just turn a Yui and fucking blast him.
You, it was that close. It was that close, dude.
Everybody in the theater would have been so pissed. This would have had such a worse. This would have been the worst movie ever.
At this point, though, he does officially run over there because they wreck after.
They wreck and I assume die.
That looks that way.
We never see him again.
Certainly not worried. They're not worried about him.
I mean, that's like a '60s VW van. No seat belts. They were going fast.
One guy was outside.
Yeah, one guy was outside. They're dead. Fuck it.
But so he runs up. He's like, no.
Oh,
Doc, why, Doc? Doc sits
dead.
up.
He Undertakers. Did you see that? He's sitting because he's crying. He's just like sits up. Fucking.
Marty's like, what?
Oh, you're alive. Fucking pulls the thing.
T2.
I know. I love it. It's got the little silver things like he's the fucking liquid metal guy.
You thought it too?
I did.
I'm glad.
That's not how bulletproof vests work.
I loved it though.
It looks like a pillow too. It doesn't even look like a vest. It's like a fucking pillow with little silver bullet holes in it.
Marty's like, but wait, you said you weren't going to read it. How? And then Doc pulls out.
It's all
taped up.
It's taped back
He's
together.
like, look, man, I realized as soon as you left, 30 years is a long time, and I might have killed you. So I should probably at least see what you had to say.
Right.
So I ran
was clearly
back,
something
taped
bad. I couldn't. I was too curious.
He's like, I figured it was the real line. I figured it was worth the risk.
Right.
Like it was good.
He just figured, what the hell? It's fine.
Then it's so great. He's like, all right, well,
let's go home.
Everything's done.
I'll take you home.
I'll take you home.
I'll pop some
go
more
to the
plutonium. I'm gonna just blast off to the future.
Like my original plan. How far? 30 years. Seems like a nice round number.
Yep. Ha ha ha.
Marty's
well,
like,
look me up
again.
Like,
I'll
be about 47-ish or so.
Exactly. He's like, okay. Marty goes inside.
Doesn't
know any of the differences.
He goes to sleep.
Dude, like, shut up. You saw what that house looked like when we see it in the morning, right?
Nice.
It's the same. It's at the same address. Same outside. The
inside is super swank, though.
There's no way he didn't notice while walking from the
through.
Front door
like he'd
to
walked
his
in the
bedroom.
door and been like, "Well, this isn't my living room."
I don't care how tired he is. You know what I'm saying?
You think he crawled in through the window?
Maybe.
So his parents didn't know that is his. Yeah, that's what he does in the second one.
So maybe we can
just wasn't paying attention.
But so then he wakes up and we get to see the wildest changes, right? Like
everything is nice.
Everything's better.
Mom and dad look great. Mom's skinny. Bro's wearing a suit. Like, what the fuck? What are you doing? I always wear a suit to the office.
Crispin Glover. It's funny to me that the better version of Crispin Glover looks nothing like Crispin
Doesn't
Glover.
look a
You know, like
thing
the
like
original
him.
Crispin Glover.
It's got like
from-
a tan, the nice hair,
Well, it looks
no
like they even, like,
glasses,
might have,
had
like,
like
some-
cheek
Yes,
injections
I was
or
like,
something.
why do we have to change him so much?
He went and got like the Kurt Russell chin.
Everybody else looks more like themselves, but they were like,
Right?
we're gonna make him look
No,
wildly
he went and got
different.
all the plastic surgery.
But yeah, so we see all these differences. I still don't understand why like the brother is living at home now if he has an office job. and
Mom
suit and
pours
tie.
the best cereal. It's
Still
not
to
the
this
same.
day.
He shows up every morning, 6 a.m., Fruit Loops,
Uh,
oat milk.
but
Because he's
we-
weird. He's lactose intolerant. I'm just adding that character trait.
We quickly get to see though like all of the things that are different. So we see that Lorraine now is not she's not
Uptight.
hate
She's not a
women.
nun. She's
Yeah.
like, oh, you're going on your trip with your
You-
girlfriend. You've been
told us
planning
all
it
about
for
it.
weeks.
You're taking the
I
4x4.
like that girl.
Are you taking the 4x4?
What are you talking about? The car is wrecked. Like, what do you mean? They all freak out. Like, why does nobody ever tell me anything?
I want to ask you this right now. Again, much like the why is the brother living at home if they are all loaded?
Mhm.
Why are they all worried about one
car?
We know there's a 4x4 in the garage.
Yeah.
You're telling me there's not another car also? Like they're a 2-car family. Like that is his car.
Yeah, where's fucking brother's car?
You get what I'm saying? Why were they all so upset?
They all share that BMW.
That's what it seemed
they
like.
they go outside. Biff's polishing it up because Biff is
This
the
is funny to me.
auto detail
Well,
guy now.
No, so I make the joke all the time. I'm like, it's almost like he's their indentured servant. somehow. But actually, if you pay attention outside, Biff, there's a tow truck out there. It's part of his detailing and car service.
Ah.
I like to say that this is because Biff couldn't afford to pay to fix his car after he wrecked into the manure, and somehow he just slowly ended up having to do work for this guy.
And that he just took it over after a while. I can
Literally
see it.
direct connection to Marty being in the past is why, like, you know, like, because you like to think it's like a weird butterfly effect that made him end up
as
waxing
the
a
waxing
car,
guy.
right? No, I'm telling you, it's a
It's
direct
because
effect.
he
It's
couldn't
because
afford to pay off
'cause
the
think about
car.
it. 2 tells us he had a problem coming
It's like
up with the money.
$300. It's like $300
He had
to
problems
fix his
coming up with the
car.
money to pay the guy. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
He had to work at the shop, and they just took over after the old
That's
man
what
died.
it is. That's what it is.
Canon. Spielberg himself couldn't tell me different.
But yeah, so at this point though, we see he's like, all right, well, I guess I'm taking the car. Marty just embraces it.
Yeah.
Again, understand that means that this Marty is now living in a timeline.
BMW is not exactly great for going to the woods, but whatever.
Marty though is now living in a timeline he doesn't know. Like we
Yeah,
all
this
need
is
to
all
address
new
that.
to me.
Well, and he doesn't know what things are different.
Right,
He doesn't
like
know
he's
what
got
his
to
past is.
learn how this universe works now.
And he just immediately though was like, well, fuck it, I'm gonna go check out this truck. He goes outside. When he gets to the truck, Jen shows up.
I have always wanted this truck though.
Yeah.
It's like an 85
Yeah.
Toyota Tacoma, I think is what it is. I want this truck.
When he gets out there though, Jen shows up.
And right here, when you get into the second movie,
this is
from here on is
is-
reshot for
yeah,
the second
Well,
movie.
it has to because it's Elizabeth Shue.
Yeah, it's Elizabeth Shue.
Yeah, this is officially, like we said, we've addressed all of what happens here, so we don't really need to say much. We've talked about
Go
this.
watch
We'll do it
our
real quick.
Back to the Future
We'll do this
2
real
review.
quick. So if you want to hear the in-depth, you can go to that. The real quick is just Doc shows up. Doc says, I got to take you. He's
We
got
got to
Mr.
do something
Fusion.
about your kids.
Yeah, he's got Mr. Fusion. The main reason we even didn't mention this is because Mr. Fusion is, other than in the past, it's our present day timey-wimey.
Yep.
It's when we see that nobody drinks Miller Lite.
They drink
are drinking
Miller
High
High
Life.
Life, the good stuff, and I'm just kind of trying to finish off
Yeah,
this
that's okay.
light.
We don't want to waste it.
Yeah, don't waste beer.
But yeah, so it is officially the end. Those are things that we'll deal with. Oh, roads.
Yeah,
Where we're going,
we
we
don't
don't
need
need
roads.
But again, we've addressed this line.
We did this. Go watch the second episode. It's on our channel.
But we are finished. We don't even have to talk about the beer.
No, we already did that too. Fuck, we're done.
The only thing we need to do now
Is the next episode Braxton Brewing Company's Spur, because we're going back to the Old West. We're doing Back to
time
the
travel.
Future 3.
We're finishing
More
out,
time travel, baby.
finishing out this month of timey-wimey.
Yep.
All right. You guys know how this is. Sometimes we get to have some special guest talk from our smallest fan. We have had a lot of it recently because he has definitely been way
Don't
into
do that.
wanting to hear all of these movies and talk about them to you guys.
This is like his favorite movie.
Yes, and that's what I was gonna say. This one is even more so. You know, he talked before for Back to the Future 2, but this one, this again,
This is what kicked it off.
yeah, this is how you learn to love it. This was his Halloween costume, even, right? He's
Right.
show him,
For
but
all the patrons, look at how
say
awesome.
I'm Marty.
Look at
I'm Marty.
That's right.
He's
Yeah,
got his
you
life
are.
Preserver on.
All right, so Bud, tell us, what do you like about Back to the Future?
I liked the it's funny about the laugh in the movie.
George McFly's laugh.
Yeah.
Bo likes
I
that
like
laugh. Yes, you like that
And I liked the band. It was
when he plays the
Yeah.
music.
Yep.
You
Goes
love when
too
he
into
plays
the
the guitar.
solo.
You think it's funny.
yeah. I liked the art Marty actually
You okay?
got in time and saw the newspaper. It's 1955, and his mom waked him up, and he just got crazy after that.
Well, yeah. Wouldn't you be? You'd be like, why does mommy look like that? She's my age.
When you're older, you'll realize how much
Yeah.
weirder that's.
Right now, it just seems weird because they're the same age. When you get older, you'll understand more.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. Also, what do you think about the skateboarding? Because you're starting to get into skateboarding, right?
I liked the skateboard. He don't like skateboard. He just holds on a car.
Yeah, he just
You gonna
uses
do
it to
that?
get
Can I
places
drag
fast.
you with my car?
No.
What? I can't drag you with my car?
I don't want to
That would be
slip.
so fun.
I don't want to slip.
Well, then
You-
don't slip. Get good, son.
You gotta work on your balance first, right? That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Gotta practice.
Balance.
Okay.
And then we can do that.
Good. All right. So, anything else you want to tell people before you go?
I
Whatever you
like
want, bud.
and subscribe and hit the bell button.
Good job, buddy.
He's out.
All right, buddy. Thank you for that. And we are going to take care of everything else now.
All right. So, are we done? We're almost
Yeah,
done. All right.
that's
Plug
it.
the Patreon. All you people out there, like, comment, subscribe. Patreon.com/Kentucky Fried Critic. Give us some money. Buy us a beer. I'll see you next time. Quick to the TARDIS. Statute of limitations.